Well, it's been a quiet week here in Lake Scabagon, my hometown. This episode, they talk about Brock's goal for 2025 and non-alcoholic beers. They check some voicemails and have some wild conversations with Jefe Fortson from Squad Five-O. They talk about life as a teacher, learn how to win a Snickers bar, play some games, and so much more.
Yo, boys.
Let me take out my other earbuds. I've been rewatching our thing from the other day. There we go. There we go.
You were double earbuds?
This was on my phone.
Earbuds over earbuds.
I was watching it on my phone, and then these are on my computer. I mean,
all my friends.
All this technology.
Come here. Come say hi.
My son's very shy in the corner. Doesn't want to meet you.
Oh,
So it goes. He's heard stories.
Well, I see why now.
Yep.
But I was thinking, since it's our first new episode of 2025, we should kind of talk about other things that are going on for 2025. So Brock has a new thing going on for 2025.
What's happening in 2025
You tell me, Brock.
Yeah.
What's your beverage consumption going to be in 2025?
I tell you what, it's not going to be anything fun. I've decided I'm not going to drink any fun beverages at all. At all.
Huh.
Yeah. So that means chocolate milk straight out the door. No more chocolate milk. Strawberry milk also out the door. None of that. I'm not drinking any booze. I've written off beer, alcohol, wine, mead, hard seltzers, malt liquor. What else have I written off? There's probably a number of other things in that category. But yes, I'm going to be clean and sober. I've been clean the whole time, but sober. I won't drink any alcohol from the 6th of January until December 25th, which most people know as Christmas Day, but I know as the day that I get to take a drink again, because that'll be when I get my bottle of Jaeger. So,
that's right.
Some holiday traditions are sacred.
Okay.
So that's my plan for this year. And along with it, I'm maintaining the 7 miles a week. So it's not a mile a day. I'm going to try to keep up the same mileage. When we're done recording here, I'm going to go out and get 3 miles in. And then I will have done 6 miles and only have to do 1 more mile this week, which will be comparatively easy. So,
Yeah.
Nice.
You're used to doing it every day. So.
Exactly. Yep. So that's the plan anyways. I'm turning over a new leaf. Mostly I'm just trying to stay healthy, trying to shed some pounds, and it's almost impossible for me to shed the pounds and enjoy a good drink. Because I'm one of those guys, I if I am going to drink, I'm like, well, why would I just have one? I'm going to have 2 or 3.
Sure.
I'm going to enjoy myself. So that is what contributes to the weight gain, I think. And so that's my, I'm on the wagon is what they would say.
Yeah, I guess you're on. Yeah, that would be on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. With a definite stop. I know the schedule of the wagon. I know when I'm getting off of it, but that's the idea is that, for this year.
With the no drinking, non-alcoholic beers still on the table for you?
Yeah, for sure. I was having a conversation with somebody before I stopped drinking. I think it was like, the day before New Year's or something. And it was a fellow who was absolutely zero. And I think it was for, like moral or ethical reasons. It wasn't like a health thing. So it's not that he can't have it. But as a personal choice, he was going for 0.0. So he could have the Heineken 0.0. And there's a few others out there, I think, that are pretty good. Depends on how you feel about Heineken. I think a Heineken is what a Heineken is. So I'm not disappointed by it, but it's also not the top of quality, probably. Sure. I think, so there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of options that are not trying to be beer, like the Kirkland Signature Sparkling Water. This has become probably my favorite beverage. I went from not ever drinking sparkling water to like crushing 2 or 3 or 5 of these a day. And so, it's nice. I do have a couple of, non-alcoholic beers that I prefer. The Athletic Brewing Company, which is based out of Connecticut, which is not too far from Rhode Island. I know it's not the same state, but it is still New England. Yes.
Yes. Still New England.
Okay. So, you guys have all had non-alcoholic beers, right? Like to me, it's probably the best one I had before I had Athletic was Klosthaler, and Klosthaler is not that great. They had Cascade hops. They had a dry hop version of their of their beer. And it was fine. It was good. And I could get it at my local pub. So if I was ever not drinking, like that was something I could get at my local pub. So that was cool. And I enjoyed that. But Athletic, whatever it is, do you guys know how they make non-alcoholic beer? Have you heard about this?
No.
When people make non-alcoholic beer, generally what they're doing is making real beer. So they're aging it the same way that they would if they were making it just, as a 5% or whatever. And when they finish the brew, then instead of putting it in a can to age or to keep its alcohol inside of it, they pasteurize it. So I think they boil it again, and that means the alcohol, which is lighter than water, boils off first. And so what's left is whatever the beer is made of. And have you ever walked past a brewery? Like, breweries are notoriously smelly. They smell terrible. When I was doing my runs in Astoria, and you guys were following me and tracking me, that was a good time. I was running past Fort George's brewing facility, and that place just smells terrible. So most non-alcoholic beers are similar to walking past the Fort George brewing experience. Like if you're not getting the alcohol itself, it's not that pleasant of an experience.
Sure.
So Athletic is set apart, and I know they have an IPA as a flagship product, and I think that might be maybe one of their worst tasting beers in terms of like what you're expecting. Because if you go in expecting an IPA, it tastes at best like a session IPA. But their golden ale or their golden lager, it's what's it called? It's the one in the yellow can. That was the first one of theirs I ever had, and it's the best I've ever had. It's just in terms of if you want a beer, and you can't have a beer, that's it. It's got it's 0.5% alcohol. So they haven't gotten rid of everything. Same as you'd find in kombucha or whatever. So if, for whatever reason, health or whatever else, you can't have that, then you're stuck with Heineken 0.0, which is not bad. It's just not great. But so many of these other breweries just taste like, they taste like what's left over. It's like they taste like the mash or whatever that doesn't have the beer in it. And Athletic Brewing, I'm pretty sure they must be like doubling up on ingredients or something to make sure that the rich flavor that you would expect if you have just like a normal beer is still there. So that's my best guess is that they're like doubling the recipe or something, like they're using more content, and when they evaporate, then less flavor goes away. They still kind of have that, but that's just my guess. I don't know for sure.
Because like you said, Brock, like the Clausthaler or whatever was serviceable but not enjoyable.
Sure, yeah. And everything else tastes like ass.
Yeah, so bad. And I've never tried the Heineken because I don't like the regular Heineken, so I don't know why I would.
Right.
Best plan.
Yeah, it's like why. But I've done like the Bud. Bro, I've tried Bud Zero, Coors Edge, which is like their NA beer, their watery versions of already light beer. Like, yeah.
I think Budweiser had one. Miller had one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like regular Miller Lite, so I haven't tried any of their NA stuff. But
all this plebeian beer, no thank you.
But now at the local Food Lion, they have Athletic. They carry it in the beer section. They've got the Coors Edge. They've got the Stella, because Stella Artois has a non-alcoholic. I've not tried it because the regular isn't exciting to me.
Yeah, at the Food Lion, you could get it in the box.
Yeah, it's all there now, so I can just like. I don't have to have the subscription, but I did like getting the pilot series because the pilot series were often better than the regular lineup, especially the experimental IPAs were really good.
Yeah, and Tucker's IPA was really good,
yes.
I thought. And then they also had a Mosaic special. They made that like, I don't know, maybe once every 1.5 years or something. But Mosaic is my favorite hop, so to get a non-alcoholic beer focused on Mosaic hops, that was exciting.
Yeah. I like the ritual of a beer or a bourbon or something. It's something different than water.
Yeah.
Or soda. Like it feels different to have like a beer, a flavored beverage. And so the non-alcoholic fits that. Yeah. And it's good. Like now they make good enough ones that it's still like enjoyable. The only thing I've still discovered about non-alcoholic is like I will not pour them out of the can into a glass. I've tried that.
Does not improve the experience.
No, better out of the can directly. We're almost like a craft beer. I never drink out of, or almost never. Like if I'm at home, I'm going to pour everything into a glass.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Put an NA beer straight out of the can. Yeah. And now like the Schoof, La Schoof, like the Belgian.
Schoof.
There it is.
They have an NA Belgian Golden Ale that is really good. Like
we had some samples at the shop. It was good.
Yeah. Like there's so many options, and then now craft breweries are making them. So I think it's exciting to like you can actually explore some options and not just drink the one quote near beer or whatever at the
Totally.
grocery store that's close.
Might be kind of fun if like each week you pick like a different NA that you haven't had before
Hmm.
and have that with you on Tuesday and just kind of review it like
Oh
as we're
yeah,
going. That might be kind of cool.
down for that. Did you drink the Mash Gang non-alcoholic beers at Furnace Fest? They had a booth and they were giving them out. So it was,
It was like a bomb pop sour.
yeah,
I did not try it because I don't think
Oh,
they
really.
I didn't see the well, maybe I did. I don't it was 2 years ago. I can't remember what I did yesterday.
it was a yellow can with like a
Yeah.
melted like rocket pop.
They were pint cans too, 16 ounce, like
Yeah,
big ones. They were free and they were cold and they were non-alcoholic, so it was tasty.
they were so good. But yeah, that bomb pop sour, the Glorp one was oh man, it was so good. And especially where it was so hot out and just wanting to like grab a beer or something like that and but not wanting to kind of, after you have a couple drinks, you just want to sit down and do nothing. And I'm like, I've got a whole day of concerts going on.
Right.
So it was nice, kind of similar to, when kind of pacing yourself with like the athletic. Um, this was kind of the same thing. It was like, oh, I can just go grab one of those, and it was
Hmm.
free, which was fantastic. But like I would have paid for it, It was
Mhm.
it was legit.
I drank quite a few of them. So these guys, because they're also scene dudes, so that's why they came to Furnace Fest as well. They were already connected to the music, and then they happened to make the NA beer. So to your point about the brewing process for NA beers, Brock, like I believe there's a couple ways it can be done, but Mash Gang does like a triple decoction method. Like they do a very different method, and like a triple decoction brew is like a laborious. It's not the most profit centered way of making beer if you're a regular. And I'm not the expert here, but I know this because our friend of the pod, Ert,
Ert!
spent quite a
Art
long
with the
time.
socks.
Ert with the Sox was very excited about Mash Gang and spent a lot of time peppering them with questions about their process and how they made it and the whole thing because he's into that. So he filled me in because I did not spend as much time asking about how they made the beer as I did just drinking it. But their stuff was really good. And then they did something with I believe Chad promoted it last year where they had
Yeah.
some run of their like two beers with a discount code or something. I bought it. I just remember that. Like I bought it. There was a lager, like maybe a hoppy lager and something else that was different than the sours, and it was very good. But yeah, so like that was a big thing at Furnace Fest that year. It was like, oh, we've got NA beer, and then yeah, we walked up ready to buy it, and then it was free, and it was like, well, we'll be back, and
Yep. Yeah.
again
Yeah.
and again and again because it was essentially the Monster tent, but with NA beer that fit the environment. But their stuff's really good.
Sweet. Well, I like this.
Yeah, so this will be kind of a fun adventure to keep an eye on, and let's make some quick mic adjustments and dive into some voicemails.
Yeah, 5 of them. I've been tempted to listen, but I've restrained myself.
The fun part is it's been so long since we actually recorded. I don't remember what half of them are.
One of them was before Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, well, BC.
Yes.
Do we want to rip through those?
We have any intro or are we okay?
We'll get to an intro eventually, right?
All right. Hey, you're the editor.
All right, here we go. First one.
Sounds good.
Hey, losers.
Yeah.
This is Joe Yerke of Pickle
Oh,
and
he
Boot Shop
identified
fame.
himself.
Listening to the new episode sucks as usual. Anyway, I think Tenderfoot, if you guys haven't figured it out by now, I believe Tenderfoot was the side project of Dear Ephesus.
Yeah.
So I believe Dear Ephesus guitar player, their guitar players started Tenderfoot I could be completely off here, but that's what I remember, that the guitar players went and kind of did a side thing without Aaron. So like when they weren't touring, when Dear Emphasis was kind of slowing down and Aaron was getting more into TV and movies, Ed and who was the other guitar player? He was a good-looking kid. It was Ed
You tell me,
and
Joe.
the good-looking kid. I believe they were the ones that started Tenderfoot. I believe the good-looking kid was the singer. So that's all I have to add. Suck it.
I believe the good-looking kid was the singer, Joe Yerke. Got it.
I'm honored. We just got fact-checked.
Yeah.
Joe gets angrier and angrier every time he calls. I'm curious,
And
like
I'm for it.
what are we going to do that pushes him over the edge?
It keeps him warm in those Canadian winters.
Well, yeah.
I have something to tell Joe Yerke right now. I have something to let him know before we move on to this next one. I appreciate that you finally manned up, cowboy, and told us who you were this time. Gosh.
We do applaud courage.
Love you too, Joe.
That was great. We got fact check, guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
There you go.
It's
Hey.
it's the circle of podcast life. Is that how it goes?
that's right. The circle of
No.
podcast live. Here we go.
No.
Somebody has to keep us honest. We can't check our own facts, right?
All right. Thank you, Joe.
I think that's all we need from Joe.
Yeah, there
Next.
you go.
Squids, what's up? It's Erd again. I'm out
Hey.
walking the neighborhood with a ruck vest on,
And his socks.
thinking about Brock running miles. But anyway, I'm out training, and I'm training for a race this summer. And I was thinking, I need albums for full. So what are your top single albums that go hard? Top two for full playthrough. And then what are your top two non that go hard? Full playthrough. Well, let me know. I'll throw them on while I'm training. I'll come back and review. Later, Squid.
Ooh. All right. I dig that.
I
Like
wish I
it.
knew all of what he was saying.
I was
I
going to
think
say
he-
some of it dropped out. It sounded like he was saying he needs the best lovemaking records. Is that right?
Yes, that go hard.
Stretch Armstrong socks on. Okay.
Yes, always.
From what I understood, besides that, he was also looking for the training to run by, full albums to run by.
Do you want to know what he's doing, training for, or can he tell us later?
Do you know, Jared?
I do know. I know.
I know
Okay,
Jared as
all
well.
right.
Thank you. No, he's doing this paddle from somewhere down in Florida to the Bahamas, and it's a charity fundraiser, I believe, to raise funds for research for cystic fibrosis, if I remember correctly.
Awesome. Yeah.
So he's fundraising for it, and he's going to train, and I can't remember when it is. It's down the road, but he's going to try and stand up paddleboard this thing.
That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
dang.
That's awesome.
It's like 90
pretty good.
miles, I think, something like that.
And
Wow.
incredible, yeah.
Yeah. So you can choose a lengthy album.
You can do it. Hang in there.
Yeah.
We believe
Um,
in you. Yeah.
Oh man.
That one might be one we have to think about and
Yeah,
and get back to him on.
for sure. Let's write this down and we'll record that after. That'd be perfect.
You got yours off the top of your head, though, Brock, that when you're ready to rage and break stuff? Besides
Oh,
this one.
absolutely. Yeah. Cigaros for sure. Puts me in the mood to tear it up.
I'm going to open up
curious,
this
like,
can.
You know, do people do they want a fast album or a loud album to like motivate them and pump them up? Or are they looking for like midstream, mid-run, whatever, like something to like keep them going, keep them interested? It could be conceivably a pretty wide variety of albums depending on kind of what function they're supposed to serve in that particular piece of the training regimen.
It's kind of an endurance thing. You're right. So you don't want something that you're going to like max out at. Something to keep pace, I guess,
Yep,
Sure,
there are a lot of
sure.
rules.
and not get bored. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Number one, don't get bored. I mean, you could just listen to a Pickle Home Companion from episode 1 all the way through.
And then
That's
we'll
true.
just like
Just keep on going.
we'll go in and splice little things like in the middle. Just go, Ert, you've got this. And then
And that's like 6 strokes worth of energy right there.
right.
Right.
Also works for lovemaking.
How those socks doing?
You can do it.
We recommend Pickle Home Companion for all your needs.
Oh no.
We'll be there to support you.
Oh,
I think we're gonna get another text message.
I think we're
from
gonna
somebody
get
I know.
a double E rating.
I often listen to podcasts when I'm working out, when I'm running or something. I'm not listening to music necessarily, but sometimes you need it. Sometimes I think if you do need music, like for me, if I need music to push me over the line, you know, to like get me to do the thing. Sometimes it has to be like high energy, good news, good feeling, good vibes. So yeah, I mean, it depends on
So
what
Carmen,
those good
got
vibes
it.
are for you. Yes, absolutely. That's right. Yep.
Addicted to Jesus. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and riot. I mean, when you're ready to rage.
Yeah, I think we circle back next week
Yeah.
with answers. That gives us time to think about it.
Yep.
Okay.
That assumes that we will think about it between now and then.
Right.
So we're 2 voicemails in. Okay.
Yeah. So 2 go hard albums start to finish, and then 2
Softer.
not so hard kind of keep you going.
Go hard albums. All right. Yep.
Got
All
it.
right. We have homework.
Thank you, Ert.
Next voicemail.
Hey guys, it's Anna Kipps calling.
Anna!
Just a quick update with the Hey Google GPS situation. The most recent episode did try to send me to the town of The Plains, Virginia. I don't know how it happened, but this time it was Jared activating my GPS and not Pete. So,
Oh, well done.
I don't know. I just can't win with you guys. I didn't go there because I knew where I was, but it did try to send me there. Also, your call-ins from Joshua Lawless, I thought it was really funny because as soon as I heard his voice, I thought to myself, this dude sounds like a really southern Mitch Hedberg. And then he goes on to talk about how he loves Mitch Hedberg.
Yes!
So
Oh my
that's
gosh.
just funny to me. But also my favorite Mitch Hedberg is when he talks about he wants to throw like 100 tea bags in the lake for like a week and then he goes tea skiing. That's just hilarious to me.
Oh my gosh,
All right,
yes.
well, I hope y'all had a good holiday. Bye.
Thanks, Anna. I
awesome.
had a great holiday because you sent me all those records.
Oh, and Anna, I'd like to say that you can't win with us. You can always win with us. And hey, Google, thank Anna for her service. Anna, thank you for your service.
And hey Siri,
Yeah.
hey Siri, tell Anna that we said thank you for the voicemail.
Yes.
And hey, Google, take Anna to Georgia.
Why is her phone like? Isn't her phone playing the podcast? Like, can it be doing that and listening? Is that the thing? Okay.
With Google phones, if it hears "Hey Google," because she's probably listening in her car.
Oh, sure.
And if it
you've been
hears
saying,
over the
"Hey,
car,
Google."
it'll stop and go yes.
Yeah.
And because there's a lag on it, it'll hear like the first sentence of what you said "Hey Google" to before it stops the podcast.
Yeah. Hey Google.
Hey Google, drive to Lake Scabagon.
Hey Alexa, order more avocados.
Hey Google,
Oh.
play Newsboys from the 90s.
Hey Microsoft Copilot, what are you?
Are they sentient?
I hope it plays the Newsboys because that's a treat.
Yeah, it is.
That's winning.
That'd be an entertainment to some angels. Yeah.
Yep.
Unaware.
24/7, we wait for it. All right.
Number 4.
Thank you, Anna. Always good to hear from you.
Hey, Squids. This is Mr. Kyle.
Hey!
So I have a prank story. I don't know if it's a prank really, actually, but it turned into one somehow. So when I was in high school, I was part of the chapel worship team. And I think it was the last chapel of my senior year. And for some reason, me and a couple of my friends decided for literally no reason, we were going to take our shoes off and put them at the base of the stage.
Because Rich Mullins did it.
Before we went up to play the song. There's literally no reason. I need to make that clear. There was no intention behind it other than we were stupid high school kids.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot of other people started joining in because they thought it was funny. So there was just this big pile of shoes at the base of the stage. And then, we graduated, didn't think anything of it. And then I come to find out like 5-6 years later that it had turned into a tradition that no one really understood where it came from or why it happened, but they started ascribing meaning to it. Something about like, taking your shoes off in reverence or something like that. And my understanding was it continued until the school closed down. But yeah, there was no reason behind it. It was just we were dumb high school kids who thought it would be funny to take our shoes off, and then it turned into this grand gesture, which tickles me to no end. All right, have a good one.
That's great.
That's great.
That's good.
It's like the postman, right? It's like you start just assigning meaning. Like you're like this. This does make sense. This is real.
Very postmodern.
It's very beautiful.
We got one more.
Hey, Squids, this is Mr. Kyle. I just remembered another legitimate prank that that I did when I was in high school. So the way our school was set up, there was a payphone directly across the lobby from where the secretary's desk was. And my friends and I used to set up sort of a screen of 2 or 3 of them would stand in front of the desk and talk to the secretary, and then one of us would go and use the payphone and prank call the front desk and, just various things. So this culminated in when we took our senior trip to Disney World.
Swanky.
And I used the payphone at Disney to call the secretary's desk and claimed to be Disney security. There had been an incident and we needed to speak with the principal right away. So she got very flustered and barged into the principal's office, who I guess at the time he was having a meeting, some important meeting, but I could hear her say, "Oh, it's Disney. It's very important. They need to talk to you." And he said, "Hello?" And I said, "Hi, Mr. Taylor. This is Kyle." He said, "Oh, hi, Kyle. How's the trip?" And I heard the secretary say, "Oh, no, they got me again." So that was a fun one. But she did end up getting me back because she, at my graduation, she printed out a fake diploma that I was handed when I was walking across the stage. And it was kind of touch and go as to whether or not I was actually going to graduate. So seeing a fake diploma, I was like, oh no, I didn't graduate. I'm a failure. And then I realized that it was her getting me back. And
amazing.
It was very, very funny. So
that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
Anyway, that's my actual prank. Okay, bye.
That's fantastic.
That's hilarious.
Is that Kyle from Mustard or is that a different Kyle?
That is Kyle from Mustard.
Nice. Good job, Kyle.
You're good at pranking when it gets reciprocated at that level. That's
Yeah.
solid. That's very funny.
I'm curious, like what business does even, security from Disney have? Was this a school trip or what happened?
Yeah, it was the senior class trip. So every year
okay,
the seniors would go down to Disney.
So it's conceivable that the security could have a word for the principal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially because some of the other classes had previously had issues down there.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
They're on a first name basis.
Mm-hmm.
Old Lenny from security.
So he never said, did he get the actual diploma later? Because what if she's been pranking him until this day?
This very day.
What if it was the real long game and that was actually fake and he never graduated from high school? That'd be great.
Yeah. I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Thank you, Nicolas Cage.
You're him too? Nicolas Cage is D.B. Cooper?
Time out. Brock is Nicolas Cage. Time in.
Whoa. Wait, that's Keanu. Sorry.
Wait, crap. You're both? All three?
Amazing.
He contains multitudes.
All right. Well, why don't we welcome our guest in?
Jeffrey.
Yes.
What up?
Hello.
What's up, homies?
How's it going?
It's going well.
I think the phone's at the perfect angle. It's like you're about to jump off the stage and onto the crowd.
Yeah, I've been working on this angle for years.
Perfect.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Welcome to my garage.
Sometimes it surprises me that people are willing to after what it's demonstrated what it is we do, and people are still in for it. So thank you for that.
Just general jackassery and whatnot. So yeah,
it's the brand.
Right up my alley, man.
Branding's very important. You got to be consistent.
Excellent. Well, happy Failure Puddle Friday, everybody. We are back and we have a special guest.
Absolutely, yes. Jeff Fortson might be the world's best Spanish teacher. In fact, he might also be the world's best Sirius XM radio host and producer. He is also a decent golfer who placed a T12 in the 2017 SCGA Mid-Amateur. But you might not know that he was once also the singer of an incredible rock band called Squad Five-O, which is allegedly here to stay. Jeff, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here. What's up, kids?
We got some big fans in the group, I know. I think, Jared, you've got the LP, yes?
I do.
Sorry, the 10-inch. Yeah.
Yes, 10 inches. Yeah.
I just got my cassette copy from a record store in the mail yesterday.
Let's go.
Very excited about it.
And I have.
Oh, there it is.
The CD.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
What's Pete got?
I got some of the old stuff, and I got a T-shirt.
I'll allow it.
75% is not bad.
I have all your albums except for a couple. There we go.
At this point, Jeff, do you have like boxes and boxes full of CDs, discs, ephemera? Is it like you have to load a U-Haul every time you go on tour?
I mean, me personally, no. I don't have much in my inventory here. There's a bin up in the attic. Every once in a while, I'll rifle through it, and I found a few shirts. They were all like youth larges, which I guess was a thing back in the day for the ladies and for Pete, I guess.
Yeah, never was for me.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of squad inventory. Every once in a while, I'll find something up in the attic that kind of go down that rabbit hole for a while, you know. My wife's wondering where I am and like sweating my balls off in the attic looking at old squad stuff.
That's what attics are for. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Do you bring it up in the classroom? Do you?
It inevitably gets brought up in the classroom. The walls of my classroom kind of, they're like covered in papers and things. Like my goal is to not have 1 inch of the painted wall to be shown. And they repainted my room a couple years ago, so I haven't quite got everything back up on the walls. But there's some old squad posters and stuff up there that I don't really ever talk about. I just sort of put them up there and see if people ever put 2 and 2 together. But yeah, inevitably, you know, word gets around the school, you know, that I was in a band at one point in time, and I teach at a performing and visual arts school, so all of my students have a major in one of the performing or visual arts. And, you know, we have band and orchestra and piano, which is not my favorite major, but it is a major. But they have a class that they've had the last couple of years called Modern Band, where it's actually a class where kids get together and they play like modern rock songs and pop songs, and they do showcases, like 2 showcases a year. And actually, I got to perform. A group of the guys asked me if I wanted to do a song with them, and I guess yeah, sure. And we ended up doing "Disappear" by Off With Their Heads,
Nice.
which was a lot of fun.
It's like a real school rock moment.
Yeah, play in front of your assistant principal and stuff. It was a good time.
Did you jump in the crowd?
No, they were all seated. You know, it was kind of like mom and dad, but it did get a good reaction. I did do some hydrotechnics, is what we used to call it, where John and I would fill our mouths with water and and spew it, you know, like it was a pyrotechnic but with water. I did that at the end, and people were just, their minds were blown. It's like, you know, these kids in the 2020s, I guess they hadn't quite seen things like that yet. But no, it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. Really super gifted and talented kids I get to work with every day. Of course, I'm just teaching them Spanish. I'm not teaching them their art major, but it is kind of cool coming from a musical background to be in a school where that's sort of a priority.
For sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does it not help connect them to Spanish? Because I'm imagining not every high school kid is thrilled about their Spanish requirement on day one.
Yeah, and you know, it is, like you said, a requirement, and I sort of view it like that. Like I didn't fall in love with Spanish till I was like in my 30s. You know, I went back to school after Squad broke up, and I stumbled into Spanish classes as an elective. I knew I wanted to teach, but I didn't think I was going to teach Spanish. I just took it as an elective and was good at it, and then fell in love with, you know, the language, the culture, the music, the literature, you know, after that. So I know every kid that comes through my classroom Spanish is not going to be their gift, but they do have some gift in the arts, which is why they're at our school. So some kids, if I see that spark in them, you know, like I encourage that, like, oh, you should go to the next level, and you could be fluent if you continue down this road. And then other kids, I'm like, hey man, let's just get you through this so you could take another painting class next year. Like,
Right,
and
right.
I know my class is like
Sure.
the end all be all. Kids don't come to our school because of the strong foreign language program, even though it is a strong foreign language program.
Sure.
Uh, but like, and more than anything, man, it's still like performing. Like the thing I miss most about Squad probably, besides like being around with my friends every day, uh, crammed into a small van, um, was performing. And I still perform every day, like 90 minutes at a pop, 90 minutes. I have a captive audience, then I have a break, and then I have another captive audience for 90 minutes. And really just building a rapport with those kids and like, being some type of positive influence in their life, or just a space where, you know, I require my kids to do the work that I give out, but it's not gonna be the class that they're staying up late at night trying to get through. Like
Sure.
I try to make it fun and keep it interesting, and bear in mind that, this is not a language school. This is an art school. And I'm just trying to keep these kids engaged for 90 minutes every day.
You were talking about that as kind of like it's an extension of yourself as a performer. We've been talking a little bit about this, about there's a couple of different routes that a lot of people from the scene in the 90s went, and they either went to like the pulpit or the stage to talk to a group of people on Sundays, or a lot of people go to a classroom and they end up being in front of people there. Do you see that connection? Like, is that something that does it ring true to you? Is a big piece of why you're there?
I think so. I remember like one of our last tours sort of that we did was with a band called Letter Kills. And I just remember being in a hotel room in Las Vegas with those guys. And one of them was like, "You ever thought about what you're going to do if the band doesn't work out?" And I was like, "Not really. I guess I'd go back." I washed windows. I've washed windows ever since I was a teenager. Like high-end residential window washer right here, guys. Still do it on the weekends. It's fun.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
But I guess go back and wash windows for a while until I figured it out. And they were like, "Nah, man, you're probably gonna be like a youth pastor or like a teacher. Like you have that vibe about you." And I've never really felt called to full-time ministry, and I don't think I would ever want to do ministry as a job. But I did feel called to the classroom, and I do feel like, I mean, in some sort of cheesy way, like my classroom is my ministry. Like I don't get up and preach the gospel every day, but hopefully in some small way, like the life and purpose I found in my faith and in Christ comes through in some odd way through what I do every day. And I don't know, I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, which can be dangerous because I get really comfortable and I guess complacent without feeling complacent. Like I don't like to shake things up that much. Where it's like my wife, who's also in education, has gone from the classroom to the specialized classroom to the gifted classroom, and now she's an assistant principal. Like I would never want to be in administration. I always want to be in the classroom, like working with kids. Like to me, that's the most fun thing about what I do. I hate the paperwork side of it.
Right. No, it's interesting you said that because both my parents were teachers for 30 plus years, and they said the same thing. They're like, that's where their ministry was, and that's where they felt they were called to be. So, when you feel like that's where you're supposed to be, it feels good when you know you're there in the right place.
Yeah, yeah.
I work on a college campus. So that's what I've done for my whole career. I'm in academic support, but athletics. But I just did a program through our divinity school it was about vocation and calling, but it's for people who aren't in ministry, like not as a vocation. Right. So it's like figuring out what that is in the work you're doing when it's not full-time ministry. So everything you're saying resonates because and the kids are the best part. I'm an administrator now, but I'm a hybrid. And the problem solving and the headaches and all that's not the fun part.
Would not want to do that.
At all. The kids are fun.
I admire people that can do it, but I would never want to do it. But I mean, it's also funny too, just because like, I volunteered with our church here. That's when I decided I wanted to teach. It's like, I was volunteering with the junior high program and then eventually the high school program. And I actually had a few times, like, our youth pastor on the way out, it's like, "Hey man, I think you could do this job if you wanted to, like, as a vocation." And then I even had like a music minister tell me the same thing. "Hey, I would like you to take this role when I leave." And I was like, "Guys, it's not my gift, like, especially music." Like, I was like worship is all about directing the audience up, whereas like Squad was all about like a lateral movement, It was like going back and forth, not directing you up, but directing you back towards yourselves, maybe even. And the band, when the band was at its best, it's like the band and the audience became one. I know my gifts, and I don't think that full-time ministry. And I actually had some really good counseling from a friend of mine that did music ministry and youth ministry for a while. And he's like, dude, in a lot of ways, it will ruin the church experience for you.
Oh, sure.
And I said, yeah, I don't want that to be ruined. I think I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
The comment that you made about the band being at its best when it was, kind of a little bit of give and take between the band and the audience, and just kind of everybody being there together. So have you had a chance to watch the documentary yet that the Caleb did?
I haven't found the courage yet. It's been sitting in my inbox.
Wow.
I think all the other guys have watched it. It's just really hard for me to like listen to me talk. I don't know. Like I hate listening to my lectures back because during COVID, I taught online for a year, like a half a year or something, and I would record all my lectures and then post them online so that kids who missed the class could go back and all that. I never once went back to edit it or listen to it. I just put it out. I just even like this, I probably won't go back and listen because it's like I could listen to you guys talk all day. Like if the four of you were just talking to each other,
sure,
or talking to someone that I was truly interested in. But it's hard for me. But the guys have seen it and they said that it was a lot of fun. That's what they said. It said it was like John said, my brother said he thinks he had a smile on his face like the entire film. So I probably will sit down and watch it sometime this week. But yeah, like I have full faith in Caleb that it was a project of love for him. So I'm sure he put everything he had into it, and he did us justice, and he did the project justice. I've not been brave enough to watch it yet.
I get that.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That similar comment about when the band was at its best, that was in the film, and
okay.
And yeah, I mean that's something that we've talked about before. There's certain bands where it's like for some reason the experience or just the band themselves is better than their albums as a whole. I've told these guys like Five Iron Frenzy, probably my favorite band. And Squad is, like easily in the top 5 as far as favorite bands.
Let's go.
Would I necessarily have any of either one of those bands' albums in my top 10 albums? Not necessarily, but they're still my favorite band.
Right.
And a lot of it has to do with, the live experience, or in the case of Five Iron Frenzy, just the personal relationship that I have with the band.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, honestly, I don't think we ever made anything as good as what we were live. There was something about the chemistry, that chemical reaction between us on the stage and the people in the crowd. And that's just hard to get. Like, it's hard to capture that magic on, in a recording studio.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't necessarily sit down and listen to our albums ever unless we have like a show coming up because I need to relearn everything. And it's also you guys, if you've ever created something in that realm, you probably feel the same way. It's like all I hear are the mistakes or the things that I would change.
Right.
Yep.
It's hard to just listen to it and be like, oh, yes, good. I just hear things like, oh, the bass is not loud enough in this mix, or the bass is too loud in this mix, or, that vocal's pitchy, things like that. But
I go through the same as you. I sometimes can't listen to myself talk. Like I listened to a couple episodes ago and I just keep shaking my head. Why did I say that? Why did I say it that way? So,
right.
and then I bring it up to them over and over, and then I'm like, but they're like, it was fine. I'm like, yeah, but I still can't. I still can't listen to it.
You can't listen to your own magic.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
I like that. I like that.
So I know the Bombs album, its 25th anniversary is this year, I believe. Isn't that right?
Oh yeah. That's right. Came out in 2000.
Yeah.
The prophetic album.
Yeah, I'm assuming the rights to that album are kind of all caught up in
like Capital EMI sort of acquisition thing.
Yeah. Tied up in Brandon Ebel, Thirsty Moon.
I'm assuming probably a vinyl repress of that for the anniversary. Probably not necessarily something that's the easiest to do.
Probably have something that would have to happen on Brandon Ebel's end, because he still owns the those tapes and those masters and
Yep.
half the songwriting on that.
What if you did like a live version, like just did a full album playthrough live, recorded that and put it out?
I mean, yeah, that would be fun. Those songs for to me were always more fun live than they were on that album. Like they had a better energy live than they did on the album. I think that might have been like our biggest misstep, maybe when we went, going from punk ska to that glam rock sort of style. If it had been like the demos, like I don't know if you guys had ever heard the demos on like the Tooth and Nail samplers.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with it.
Yeah,
Was like
they're
if
like
you did it live, you
faster
could.
and punkier.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's more like they were live. And so I think that hiring a hard rock producer was probably, I mean, and he did his best. Wayne did the best he could. He made a hard rock album with us.
Yep.
But if we probably got someone more in the punk vein, I think it probably would have had more energy. But some people, that's their favorite Squad album. Like they just love that album. I listened to it not too long ago, and for about the first half of it, I was like, oh, it's pretty fun. And then I just kind of got sick of it after about halfway through. But at the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, these are fun songs. But those songs are super fun live, especially Bombs and Apocalypse Now, We Rule the Night. Those songs are crowd pleasers, man, and band pleasers. I enjoy them.
Honestly, a band pleasing song is really the thing. When the band is happy, the show gets better.
That's true.
I'm curious if Jeff, did you have concert experiences that kind of informed what you wanted to do with the band? Did you guys attend shows together? Did you have any sort of inspiration that was like, this is what we're gonna do?
I mean, I don't know if we got any inspiration directly live. Like in Savannah, not too many bands came through Savannah, Georgia, but we would always travel up to Atlanta and we would see bands play, but they were like our peers, they weren't like, I mean, I guess we did see like LSU, and like the Prayer Chain. I don't know if you know these bands, but LSU, the Prayer Chain, Violet Burning. We saw them play at a festival, in like '94, I think. And that was like mostly alternative music, but I don't think those bands directly influenced us live. I think what more or less influenced Squad as far as like a live experiences, we had this old VHS recording of Minor Threat live at the 930 Club.
I had that,
and we would just watch that thing. We would watch that thing religiously.
Yeah,
and we just be like, this is what every show should be like. Every show should be like this, And then later on, as we started touring, we caught like we were Warped Tour a few times and not playing but watching, and we saw Rancid play. That was like a monumental moment, and we watched them from the stage. Somehow we got up on the stage, and that was just like mind blowing. Because that's as far as bands go. Out Come the Wolves and Life Won't Wait, and I think this was right after Life Won't Wait came out. It was in '98. Just like a religious experience, man. Just but as far as like influences of like what influenced us when we performed, I mean, mainly Minor Threat live at the 930, and then like, of course, there was a lot of kind of pomp and circumstance to what we did, like putting on like the big hair metal bands from our youth. There was a lot of show like that going on within the whole punk thing, and and I think the good thing about Squad, especially at the beginning, is we never took ourselves too seriously. Like we could laugh at ourselves, and we weren't afraid to act like fools or be self-deprecating. And I think that was like a good thing. I think towards the end, our heads got kind of big, and we started trying to be like rock stars, or not really rock stars, but like, a rock and roller, like this cooler than you sort of attitude. And, but at the beginning, there was just a sense of like, we were naive, and we were innocent, not like blameless or faultless, but just like we didn't know any better.
Sure.
And I think that was really like, besides the connecting with the crowd being a time when the band is its best, but there's a certain spirit about the band. I probably even talked about that in the documentary, but there's like this spirit about our band, and when we let that spirit be cultivated and sort of follow its lead, then it's much better. It's almost like you're on autopilot, like you're not really even thinking about what you're doing.
I think that does come across in the documentary. Like you said, I think you said John said he had a smile most of the time. Like the feeling of watching it is like you guys talking about your experience, but there's a lot of joy. It was like very clear, like that was fun, you know,
Yeah,
and which
yeah,
I think is a squad show of like if you've been there, it was like that was fun, and we
yeah.
all had fun together, and that came across there, and like you guys still capture it in your recent shows, which I think is really important, impressive. Like you pull that part off, like that's still consistent.
Yeah, and I think now that, especially with like the latest stuff that we're doing and the last couple shows we played back in 2017, 18, 19, and I think I want to say 22 or 23. I think 23 might have been the last time we played. It's way more fun because we're not trying to pay the bills with it. So it's like we're we're doing it because we love to do it and we love to be with each other. And it's almost like we're paying homage to the band. It's almost like we are the band, but it's also like, yeah, this band sort of shaped my life too, like, and there's a joy to it because it's just like, oh, heck yeah, for the weekend I get to hang out with my friends and make music and act like I'm 20 again, and then I think when we played Furnace Fest a couple years ago, I think I walked with a limp for like 3 days afterwards because I wore like canvas like flat sole Vans on stage, and like I mainly wear like Brooks all the time now just because comfort over, they look cool though. But yeah, I
Yeah.
like Brooks because my feet feel good in Brooks. I got on stage and I can't wear Brooks on stage. Like I put my old Vans on, and literally I walked with a limp for like 3 days after that show. I was like, I don't know what
Oh man.
happened, but it's not good.
Well, and that's what you were talking about with Reese on a couple years ago
Yeah.
on our Overlords. But you were talking about because he was talking about the Doc Martens, and then you were talking about your Brooks. So
Yeah, man.
you're right. You're right. There's comfort over coolness, but they're still cool.
Yeah, yeah. But I think next time maybe I'll just go see a podiatrist or someone beforehand and be like, what can I do to better prepare myself for this situation?
You need the podiatrist to the stars, yeah.
Yeah. But once you're in it, man, once you're in it, you're in it, It's like
Mhm.
you just see it through to the end. And I think the last couple of festivals we did like the Furnace, and then we did another one in Illinois.
Is the audio feed that you did?
Audio
Yeah,
feed.
Audio Feed. That was 2019. And after we did Audio Feed, I got super sick. Like I just got super congested, and I think it's because, I was screaming and stuff and I hadn't been doing that for a while. And then I just sat out in the night air and watched the other bands and hung out with my friends, and I came home sick. And then we did Furnace, and then I limped for 3 days afterwards. So not as young as I used to be, man. Gotta
That's why there can't be as many shows as there used to be. Yeah.
I know. I just,
Right.
also I probably should start like there should be some pre-show things I do, like I should warm up my vocals before. I should like stretch before I go on. But
You need to go get
yeah.
yourself some inserts for the Vans so that
Oh,
your feet are going to feel better.
I'll do some research on that.
Got to make sure you spend some time. Yeah, get like a one of those like Vicks inhaler machines. Get yourself all set up with that so
Little
that you can
vapor rub?
soothe.
Under a towel.
Yeah,
Yep.
the
I think that
humidifier.
Vicks
Yeah,
going.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds good.
I think you set yourself up though for the tough performances later by writing so many songs about youth that you kind of have to deliver on, right? Like,
And it's tattooed on my stomach, so there's not much
Yep.
not much I could do about it.
so you have to go hard.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I want to be the shriveled up guy in the nursing home with youth on his stomach.
We've all seen them. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, this is so weird, but my wife and I were just talking about this. But my dad is like, he's got dementia. He's been battling it, for a few years, and we finally had to put him in a facility. And I just told Kelly, I was like, hey, if I ever start slipping, I don't want to be in a home. I don't want to be hooked to machines and things like that. Like, I honestly just want to be driven up to the North Georgia mountains and released into the wild shirtless, so that I just want to go out.
There you go.
You ever seen like Legends of the Fall?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the end, he goes out fighting the grizzly bear. Like that's what I want to. There's no grizzly bears in Georgia, but maybe a really big black bear. We can go toe to toe.
Maybe we could bring you a grizzly bear if that ever becomes the case.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be
We'll
awesome.
set this up. We'll make sure it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Our grizzly people call your grizzly people. Got it.
Yeah.
yeah. I just want to go back into the wild shirtless, man. Return to the dust.
Awesome.
But yeah.
That actually reminds me, I need to ask Missy about a wild animal.
Can she own a grizzly? Yeah, we've been looking about.
Can anyone own a grizzly in any
particularly
state?
Wisconsin? Yeah.
One of our listeners, I don't even remember how it came about, but we've just started asking her every week.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday when we record, I'll send her a text message and just say, hey, do you or any of your friends own a pet skunk? Because you can in Wisconsin.
Nice.
It's worth asking. Yeah.
Yep. Today will be skunks.
I would imagine you can own almost anything in Georgia, right? Like I feel like down here in the South, there's less restriction on reckless choices.
Probably, man. I mean, the fine state of Georgia, man. There's just the possibilities are limitless, really. You know. I wonder if you could own a skunk. Would I want to own a skunk in Georgia? I don't know.
Are you a pet guy right now?
We have 3 dogs that live with us.
Okay, gotcha.
I like the way that was worded.
That live with you. Yeah, it's not like you invited them in. They just never left.
2 of them are my wife's, and one's my son's. Who's he just graduated from college, and he's started his career, but he's living with us while he saves up some money, and his dog is living with us currently as well. She is.
There you go.
She is something else. But no, I mean, I love dogs over cats all day. I will never own a cat. Like ever. And I love dogs. Dogs are just frustrating. You know, like our basset hound farts all night while we sleep, and it's really offensive. Starting to get very offensive.
Seriously, you're signing up for you invited an animal into your house, so that's the whole thing, right? Unfortunately, if you had something beside a dog, do you have any inkling of what it would be?
Oh gosh, like I get any animal in the world.
Oh sure, yeah, it's Georgia.
Yeah, we assume they're legal there.
I'd have a polar bear, man.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Polar bears are cool. It's always been my favorite animal.
Yeah, you're gonna need an ice floe in your backyard.
Yeah, it's kind of cold here right now. You know, it'd be good. Like I think we're not getting out of the 50s for like a week, so that's pretty chilly for us.
That is, yeah. I'm wondering if you could. You'd have to have a Zamboni too, right? Like to clean it and stuff. So
yeah, but we have a
minor
league hockey team. I'll just go borrow theirs.
Sure. Oh, well, there you go. You just keep the polar bear at the rink. Yeah,
they can live at the rink.
It'll improve their skating.
Yeah, he becomes the mascot. You take care of him. You bring him home when you want to hang out with him.
What do you name a polar bear though? Like what name shall I give him? There's so many names under the sun.
Oh,
I don't know. I think of something cool.
Something ironic about like how hot he is. I don't know. Like some like
Reese Roper. There we go.
Sure.
Reese Roper, the polar bear.
Reese Roper 2, like the sequel. There you go.
Electric Boogaloo. Yeah.
Some good possibilities.
I mean, and now you're down in Georgia, so there is product placement with that polar bear. I'm sure that the good folks at the Coca-Cola Corporation would pay for you to have one.
Atlanta, man, right up the road, bro. Right up the road. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing about polar bears, they drink Coca-Cola.
That's right, always.
It's true. Always. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it belongs there. I'm surprised they don't have one yet.
Yeah. You ever been to one of those Coca-Cola factories though, and tasted all the colas there?
Yeah,
I went to
the weird ones.
Their main one there in Atlanta at the museum. They had all those ones from around the world.
There's one called Beverly that tastes like death. It's the worst.
It's horrible.
Is that the like aperitif or something from Italy? I distinctly remember that as a kid. Like
I was
like
gross.
12 or 13 and we went there, and I remember trying it because it's a giant fountain, right? Like so it's like the greatest youth group suicide experience you could ever have.
Yeah, youth group suicide.
Because there's so many different fountains, and I remember drinking that one.
To clarify for anybody who's not on, that's the term that's given when you mix all the flavors of a soda.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's persisted past the 90s youth group.
I feel like everyone called it a suicide, right? Like it's what we call it.
Yeah.
I guess nowadays they call it yuck. I don't know. Like I've heard people in youth groups call it.
It was
yuck.
Delicious. Why would they say?
I know.
That?
I loved it. That's what I would do. Right down
Kids
the line.
nowadays are soft, man. Kids are soft.
They are.
Right.
You know?
Like one beverage at a time. They can't mix them.
Yeah, that's why I eat things off the floor, man. I eat things off the floor.
In the Waffle House.
Yeah, sometimes. Well, we did that to Justin. We did that to Justin once.
Just did a little research here to figure out what was going on. The Coca-Cola, of course, from Georgia. It looks like Moxie soda. Anybody ever have that? Did we talked about on this show before?
You like Moxie?
Moxie's from Maine, my friend. So it's up in our neck of the woods.
If the official soft drink of Maine, designated so in 2005, it looks like it was originally produced in Lowell, Massachusetts.
That's
so
right, but it's
New
from
England
New
born and
England.
bred.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
there are weird tasting things from all over the world, but that's the one for, I guess, at least for you, Kevin and Pete.
Not a fan.
Moxie is better than Beverly. I'm gonna tell you
it
right
is
now.
better than Beverly for sure.
It's 100% better than Beverly.
I don't know who in their right mind is drinking Beverly, man. Squad should try to get a sponsorship from Beverly. That would be kind of cool.
Do it
for your hydrotechnics. Yeah, I should change into that.
We'll turn our message all the way around if we get a sponsorship. Drink it every day.
World tour.
I'll slide in those DMs for you.
Let's go.
When I was at the factory, there was a kid that just kept going back for more Beverly. I don't know if he was being dared to do so, but he just kept going back, and we're all looking at him like, what?
It's like a gang initiation.
Yeah,
we all know that kid.
Keep an eye on that one as he grows up.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Have we even seen that kid since then?
I don't know. I was all alone. I was all alone in Atlanta. I'll have to.
How much Beverly can one person ingest?
He's got to be fit as a fiddle now. Yeah.
Hey Google, how much Beverly can one person ingest the soda?
It's true. How many Adirondack chairs could one carry after you ingest that much Beverly?
That's right.
These are the important questions.
Yep. That's all we ask.
Yep.
All those and more on the next episode of A Pickle in Japan.
Right.
We've got some research to do, guys.
Yeah, so we're working on it. We'll get there.
Yep.
Hey, Jeff, speaking of state flags, I know you guys had a song about it. Are you aware that Oregon's state flag is double-sided? It's a different design on one side than the other.
Why is
that? I don't
that?
know how many there are. Well, presumably because it's better than everybody else. I live in Oregon. But no,
we knew you'd bring this up. We knew it was coming, Brock.
Is one side better than the other?
One side has a beaver on it, and I assume that means that's the better side. The other one has, like, oxen and wagon and like the state seal, that sort of thing. But that side sucks. The beaver side is pretty cool. I know they redesigned the Georgia flag. Would you have changed anything about the current design?
I think I'm all right with it.
Okay, so it doesn't suck for different reasons?
No, there was one that they replaced the old one with at first, and that one was pretty lame. It looked like a placemat. But the new one's all right. It's the one that they had before 1955. And then
historical basis.
The only state flag that pisses me off right now is, I think it's Ohio's. It's not rectangular. Have you seen that? It's like it's like
it's like a pennant.
Yeah. That one makes me mad.
It's like two pennants. Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think they are?
The other ones I'm okay with. But yeah, our state flags, I wouldn't say it sucks anymore. I would say our state flag is acceptable.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
What about what would you, aside from Georgia, do you have a favorite other U.S. state flag?
Well, Brock, I'm glad you asked. I'm prepared for this question. I'm thinking of all the state flags. California's is pretty awesome. It's got the bear on it, right?
It's got a bear on it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's not
that
a polar
one's
bear,
pretty
but it's got a bear.
That one's pretty rad. And it says the Republic, I like I like a state that calls itself a republic, That one's pretty rad. There's one I'm thinking of. Oh, I think Mississippi's new flag is kind of cool. They put the magnolia on it because they kept the stars and bars. Golly, didn't they just get rid of it like a few years ago?
Yeah, that was one of the most recent changes, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The new one is pretty cool with the magnolia on the flag.
Oh yeah, that is sweet. I just looked that up.
But I'll probably go with California. I just like the bear. I like the bear on the California flag. Ooh, Alaska's flag has like a constellation on it, right?
That is true. Yeah,
has a dipper. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Alaska. I like this constellation flags. Like Brazil, I think has constellations on their flags.
I just found a map with all the flags on it, so I put it in the chat if it's helpful.
Oh, hey, let's take a look at that.
Now I'm like, I gotta look at all these flags and see which one mine is.
Oh, bro, dude. Colorado's, man. I didn't even think about that one. That one's cool.
That one's kind of cool. Yeah.
Arizona's a good one too.
Arizona's is cool.
What's my favorite flag? Oh, that is a great thing here that you've just shared with us.
Wyoming has a buffalo.
I'm not big on Hawaii.
We'll put it up on the social media for everyone else too.
Minnesota just changed theirs. Like, that's a fairly new Minnesota flag. That was in the news lately. Yeah, dude, I do kind of like that Mississippi flag, man. It's kind of blurry in the image, but that thing in the middle is the magnolia. And then Carolinas is cool. South Carolinas is really cool.
Yeah, the Massachusetts one's kind of lame.
All those New England looking ones look the same on this image.
It's
very official and boring.
Yeah. East is pretty cool. Dude, I'm gonna change my vote. I think I'm gonna go South Carolina. Theirs is really cool.
Sorry, Jared.
I like just that it's a negative silhouette. It's kind of cool.
I'm just realizing this image is a little lo-fi. Sorry about that.
It's all right. We get the
Stretch Armstrong did put the South Carolina state flag on they screen printed on the B side of that EP they came out with last year, and it looks very cool.
Yeah.
Hey. Rhode Island has a nice anchor and hope. So it's it's not my favorite flag either.
Yeah. Wyoming's is cool. It's got freaking buffalo on it.
Right.
Here we go. This is the one I was thinking of. This okay. Here's this map here, I think, is the one I think that's most interesting here, because like the question is, does your state flag have feet on it? And as you can see, the states coded in red are animal feet, so that's probably the most common. There are feet that are blocked by footwear, which are designated by yellow, and then simply, yes, there are feet on this flag. That's green. So
wait, does the bison have footwear on? It says it's blocked by footwear. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to zoom in on.
Is that buffalo wearing shoes? Air Force Ones? What are they?
Let's go back to the other.
Honestly, hang on. I'm going in for some more research here.
It's just a silhouette of a buffalo.
Brock, here's a question about the Oregon flag.
Absolutely.
If they display it such as in this image, which side of the flag do they display?
Ooh.
Yeah. I think most common is going to be the state seal with kind of the circular seal on it. And so people don't see the beaver as often as they could. I'm a little miffed about that, but such is life.
No truer statement has been uttered. Oh my God. That was good.
I'm going in. Here's the Wyoming state flag, and it looks.
Wyoming.
Yeah. The feet are on the seal. There are several human figures on the seal.
Yes.
They're not very apparent if you're not looking directly at.
So the buffalo has regular buffalo feet.
So it looks like obscured by shoes, those would be the human figures on the state seal, as opposed to the buffalo itself is not wearing any shoes.
It's interesting how they chose to portray the reproductive organs of the buffalo.
That's true. Just kind of a nice right angle there.
Just an angle.
Yep. I mean, I don't know what you guys are like, but yeah, it's.
I see nothing wrong with it.
That's a classy silhouette.
It's kind of the Barbie and Kenification of all this stuff.
Very angular.
The Barbie and Ken. I didn't know that we were coming up with Barbie and Kenification. That's a new one for your scrapbook there. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Writing it down.
It's flag censorship.
Very safe.
I don't think that map that I first shared describes it particularly, but I think it's Virginia might be the only one with. Is that with toes? Is that on that? Okay, there are toes on the Virginia state flag.
Dude, this guy's.
Who is the vanquished foe there?
Who drew this? Look at his feet.
Seriously.
Look at those web feet.
I mean,
the club toe on the right foot.
I don't think they had AI back then, but they do kind of look like AI feet, I gotta say.
They do.
Totally.
Yeah.
The left foot's like clover shaped.
Yeah, what the heck is going on?
And who is this, a Roman? Who are they standing on?
British.
That's wearing a tunic. Yeah.
Well, and you know what? This is also sorry here. This is that
This is going to be
the New York state flag also seems to have toes.
Oh, it does. I was going to say New York definitely has toes.
Yeah, for sure. It goes
I
with
grew
the
up
green
in New
Walmart.
York,
They have flip flops.
Oh yeah, look at that sandal action.
We got at least two people with toes. Take that, other states.
Oh yeah, here's the total Virginia.
Who's the lady on the right? Because Justice is blind on the left, but the other lady's looking out there.
So Virginia, it's Sic Semper Tyrannis. So that it's they're standing on. Oh, there's a boob on the Virginia. Is that a boob?
I think
Well,
so.
let's zoom in.
Is that even legal?
All right, here we go.
More accurate than the bison, I'll tell you that.
Safe search on.
It is the
Goodness me.
breast. Is that a female?
I mean, I think so. You could be anything you want to be in this big wide world. I think
And it's got a tattoo across the.
it looks as though it's like a Roman king, right? There's like a crown on the ground, like that song by that band, and then there's this kind of Roman like sandaled Birkenstocked, presumably representing any sort of monarchy that they might not have liked. So I think that's what we've got going on with that. So. I don't know. Are there other state flags that suck? Is this one of them?
I don't know. I kind of like it.
Is it the most violent state flag?
I will say that I really appreciate that, like what you guys were doing with the song. So I'm not trying to poke fun at that, but there's a lot of state flags. Like I just think there's a lot of interesting things going on with all these, and the fact that some of them even made it as far as they did, the fact that they are in fact the state flag, some interesting stuff. I think honestly, I got to agree with you that the Ohio, there are many reasons to dislike Ohio, but one of them is the flag and its shape.
Yeah, just quit trying to be different, man. You'll fall in line a little bit.
You're different already. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if there are state flags that still suck, it's for different reasons than the reason our state flag used to suck.
Right.
Like, and I think Mississippi might have been the last flag to go out that sucked for the same reasons that our flag sucked.
That's right. Yeah.
But maybe design wise, like Ohio's definitely sucks, and there might be some other ones. All those New England ones that all look alike on that one picture. They could have maybe tried to. That might be a whole like Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela sort of thing, though. Like how all their flags are very similar. Maybe that's what the New Englanders had going on there, because that was one big country at one time, like Grand Colombia, that split up into 3 separate countries. Maybe that's what happened up in New England, man. Maybe there's something. The flag still what tied them together as New England.
Yeah, make the 13 colonies. That's what they're gonna do.
That and the Patriots pull them together.
Boo.
They can't even lose right. So bad. All they had to do was lose one more freaking game, and no, they win.
Kevin, after all those years of winning, no one cares.
Oh, it was amazing.
I enjoy it.
Well, it was great. I was at the game on Sunday, and because I'm a Bills fan, and just hearing the crowd boo them winning was probably my favorite part. They're just because you can't even lose right. They're just booing them. And my cousin texts me, goes, was Gerard Mayo fired before you got out to the parking lot or on your way home? But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
My son has actually adopted the Bills as his NFL team. We're huge University of Georgia fans. That's the main team we care about.
Okay.
So we're not huge NFL fans, because of the Falcons. But yeah, he adopted the Bills a couple years ago. He's all about them, man.
Hey, it could be the year.
He says they have the most college-like atmosphere as far as like a fan base goes.
It is so true.
Yeah. So.
Many a broken table. Yeah.
He did a whole couple Christmases ago, like everything he wanted was like Bills associated. So he has all this Bills merch now that he wears on Sundays.
I love it. That's good.
The Brockets just gave us all kind of content here.
Brock, you were on the flag stuff.
So I'm kind of stuck on this. It's the Bills have a pretty good flag.
They do. It's a quality logo. Dude, he even has the little angular penis.
He does.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm looking for these things.
He does. No, you're good. We got the E rating. You're fine.
Yes.
Maybe that's anatomically correct.
Now it's just making me wonder, if buffaloes are just shaped like that.
I want to say congratulations. You are the first person to mention penis on a Pickle Home Companion.
Hey.
Congratulations. Good job. Give it up for him.
It's taken this long, honestly. Yeah.
It's surprising. In national symbol news, though, did you guys hear that the bald eagle just officially became our national bird last month?
What?
What?
Yeah. It never officially happened.
It was pending.
Yeah, well, no one just took the action.
That's why it's not on the flag. Yeah.
Huh.
So some guy in Minnesota, I think, had this hunch years ago and looked into it and was like, hey, no one ever made this official. It's just a thing we all believe, but no one did the thing to like formalize it.
Oh,
And
wow.
he reported it to somebody who went to the National Archives in DC, confirmed it, and then Congress just wouldn't pass the bill, and they finally did, and like Biden signed it like the last week of the year. And so it's less than like a week old or 2 weeks old that the bald eagle is officially our national bird.
Finally.
So we lived under a lie as children.
Yeah. Ben Franklin could have been right that the turkey was the national
Yeah,
bird.
the turkey.
Right,
It
and
could have
maybe
been
it
the
was.
turkey.
Could have been a turkey.
Yeah.
And there was the opportunity to make that happen up until the last like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the turkey lobby is going to have to, yeah, it's going to be a lot harder for them now.
About a year shy of 250 years on this great country, and then finally they've done it. There it is.
We had no national bird. We were birdless.
Never give up, man. Never give up. Always be changing.
Never give up.
Now that we're united by bird, nothing but progress ahead.
There we go.
Oh, that's good.
So I have a self-indulgent thing, Jeff.
Okay.
I've been waiting for you to bring this up. So
We sort of met without speaking at Furnace Fest.
Uh-oh.
Physically. So I was at Furnace Fest a couple years ago when you guys played, and I was right up on the rail. And right at the very beginning, you dove into the crowd and landed on me, and I was not prepared. But there's a good video of it. And so, I've watched sets from Furnace Fest after the fact, and I'm watching it. And as I watched it back, I've got my phone out because it's 2022. I'm going to bring it up, but I like to see what happens. You'll miss it potentially. I have my phone out, so I'm like doing the thing, and I'm all into it, not really paying attention. But you clearly go, I'm going to jump right there. You catch me, which I do not see at all. I'm just like with a phone like an idiot. And you do what you said you were going to do, but I did not catch you. Well, with my hands. It was more with my face
Right. Gotcha.
and neck.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was your angular portion. Yeah.
Speaking of angular portions,
Back in the day, I would have never even given you the warning, man. I would have just jumped.
We're all
the
older
more
now.
the more responsible, the older me. Just give me a heads up. Thanks for catching me. Oh, is it?
Oh, here we go. We got it.
Let's go.
Right here.
There we go.
It's about to happen.
There he's pointing. He's calling his place. There he goes.
That's me right there in the.
There you are.
I'm going to rub my face.
Yep.
The all-new GoDaddy helps you get your business online.
Yes.
Oh, brought to you by GoDaddy.
That's right.
Our first sponsorship. Great.
I was supposed to be Beverly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I'm that guy in the corner looking
That's
for my
awesome.
sunglasses that are now gone because they were mashed to bits.
Oh, goodness.
And now we're coming back.
It was a good time. It was a very good
Oh,
time.
very fun times, man.
Oh, that's great.
That was a fun set, man.
It was so much
That's
fun.
incredible.
And it's fun for me to say that was fun when you jumped. I have a still of it where it's essentially your bison region and my face.
My penis.
I think we need to get that printed for like framing and hanging on the wall.
For t-shirts.
Yes.
Our first merchandise.
So much fun.
I'm like just imagining a flag now that's just a bison.
Yeah, we'll do flags.
It's a flag.
Flag of the
Goes up with
bison's triangle. Yeah.
The angular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Angular. That's going to be our state seal of
Now that state flag would not suck.
Yes.
Best
Dude,
state flag
thanks,
ever.
Hey, Jared, thanks for catching me, man. Like, I've ended up on the ground a
Absolutely.
few times. It's nice to have people support, literally. Dude, that show was such a blur, man. Like, such a blur.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. That's incredible. I'm going to Spreadshirt right now.
There it is.
Oh, that is beautiful. It's just,
it's a thing of beauty. It really is.
it's just, remember how I say connect with the crowd? Sometimes you connect in all sorts of ways.
You did. You did.
Yeah.
We were talking
good to
about
meet
this.
you.
It's the horizontal connection the band facilitates. Yeah.
That is phenomenal.
It's good to look you in the eye.
Screenshotting right now. Just screenshot. I got it.
Oh, I got it too. We're good.
Go to the archives.
I've laughed about that for a couple of years, so it's extra funny to me tonight to say it to your face virtually.
Oh, that's good.
Also, Jared, I want to thank you for not doing what Brock did to Norma Jean Singer 2 years ago.
I hit Norma Jean Singer in the ball when he jumped on me 2 years ago.
Not even the balls plural, just the ball. One of the ball.
Yeah.
One ball.
No, that was who was the original? Who said that originally? Because that's been passed around the Furnace Fest group.
Wasn't it on the Furnace Fest group?
Oh, is it really?
It was. Yeah, it's one of those copy paste jokes. Yeah. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was just that. Yeah, apparently someone was driven to do that, and so yeah.
He was upset about people who were crowd surfing.
No, Eddie, so you got to just give it to him, man.
Yep.
Right. You gotta take care of your entertainers.
Don't jump on that guy.
Tip your wait staff. Make sure you get the drink minimum. Don't hit your singer in the ball. Yeah.
In the ball.
Try the veal.
We'll all have fun.
Oh my God.
So with Furnace Fest coming back again from the dead, what do you think about a 25th album playthrough at Furnace Fest?
Dude, I think that'd be awesome. Tell them to invite us.
We will. Don't say that.
Right. Chad, if you're listening.
pull the strings. Dude, honestly,
would you go back?
Oh, absolutely. That was such a fun weekend, man. Like, we saw so many people I hadn't seen in years and saw so many bands I hadn't seen play in years. Yeah, it was really awesome. Plus, that was like getting to hang out with Blindside over that weekend and stuff. And those guys are just so much fun, man. And we're big Manchester Orchestra fans in our household, so it was it's really cool getting to see them play the main stage. I don't know, it was kind of a magical weekend, man. Like it was a ton of fun. So I would love to go back at some point if they ever wanted us to come back.
There you go.
It's a little weird because most of it is a lot of hardcore and metal and things like that. Not really our thing, but I do think it's cool they have bands like, us and Five Iron come out. I think Dogwood played last year.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah,
the Insiders played maybe last year or the year before. Yeah,
2 years. Yeah,
I think that's kind of cool that they're still bringing in. That was the funny thing about the Christian Sane quotation mark back then is that we would go on tour and it would be like us, Living Sacrifice, and Ace Troubleshooter. That would be the bill. It's like the weirdest bill.
Yep.
And we'd go around and play all over America, and the three of us, and I guess to us it wasn't that weird at the time, but I think outside of that market, you didn't really have bands like that going on tour together, because stylistically the music was just so different. But
right,
yeah, that's what Furnace Fest reminded me a lot of. Like there's a lot of that heavier music, but also it's cool that they still invite some of the punk bands and ska bands out.
Well, kind of along in that vein, I don't know if you've ever seen the Interlink magazine that went out to youth group kids way back in the day. I actually went to youth leaders, and they would use this as a resource for your usual. Way back then, they had those lists of, if you like this secular band, listen to this Christian band, or if you like this Christian band, this is what they most sound like. So I have a question for you. You guys are in here.
Oh gosh,
under the hard music category. Who do you think? There's 3 bands, so you can't go wrong, but you might go wrong. What do you think that they had you most closely resembling?
Oh gosh. Geez Louise. What year was this magazine?
This would have been for the Winter 2000 companion chart.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Okay. So
it could be 2000 and prior.
Okay. So
and he hasn't told us what it is either. So
I have not.
We can guess as well too.
So bombs could be in the mix there.
Yes, it could be.
Okay. Jeez Louise. Gosh, I don't know how much of an influence bombs would have had over the recommended if you like.
I will tell you what they classify you as is in this category, it is as hair metal.
Oh gosh, okay. So it's gonna be something like, I don't know, Motley Crue.
Bingo, that's one.
For real? Yeah. Striper.
In 2000?
In 2000, Motley Crue. That tells you the state of the youth leader comparison charts.
Did anyone still like Motley Crue in 2000? Let's see. So Motley Crue. I mean, I don't think it would have. Was it Guns N' Roses?
They were not on this list. There were two other bands that probably weren't quite as popular.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like unpopular hair metal bands?
Well, I mean, back then they were probably super popular. I mean,
right? Like Rat. Are they like heavy metal bands?
Are they? They're sort of, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I think I have to give you the others because you got Motley Crue on this, and I wasn't expecting any of them. So well done. The other two, actually, you guys have a guess before I do this. The other Squids.
Hanoi Rocks.
Did we determine if Stryper would be on that comparison chart as like an alternative to Stryper?
Let me see if Stryper is on this as it is. They are not on this. So if you like Stryper, listen to Stryper. So
recommend it if you like Stryper.
Right, they're not under this. Yeah, I don't see them on this
Are these
list. I'm just looking
current
quickly.
bands for 2000 that are in the comparison group.
No. Well, actually, one of.
No, they would have been old.
Are they in the vein of Motley Crue then?
One of them could have been. Yeah.
Is it something like Aerosmith?
Okay, yeah, because my initial guess would have been like Op Ivy maybe, but
that would have been the first few albums for sure.
Right.
Right. No, but that's why I gave you the classification because I know you went through some different iterations.
Yeah. So who are the other two?
So our other two are in no particular order: the New York Dolls.
Okay, I'll take that.
Okay. Yep.
All right, and Cinderella.
Weird. Okay.
Yep. So those are your three. You got Motley Crue, New York Dolls, and Cinderella.
That might be because I bet we were wearing a Cinderella shirt in one of the promo shots or something.
Probably in the youth.
I used to have this really awesome Cinderella shirt back in the day.
That's cool.
One time we kept Cinderella from breaking up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were playing a show in Nashville, and I had food poisoning from the night before, and the club we were playing was right next door to like a practice space for bands. And the next thing we know, like Tom Kiefer from Cinderella comes walking out of the practice space, and I guess they lived in Nashville at the time, and he's like arguing with someone in the band. I just remember in my like half conscious state because I'd been throwing up pretty much all day. It's like, oh my God, you're Tom Kiefer, Cinderella, man, you guys are awesome. And it's all of a sudden it was just like they saw this light from heaven shine on them, and they're like, thanks, man, like awesome. And like the whole mood shifted from them being at odds with each other to like, oh, these younger guys kind of like our music.
Oh, sick.
And I was like, say, we kept Cinderella going, man. They were about to break up. Squad, God put us right where we needed to be to keep them together,
Oh, nice. We're gonna add that to the Wikipedia page for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Got to be put on there, man.
That's cool.
Oh, I wanted to ask your sour gold beer. How did you manage to have that come about?
Sorry, Rock just turned it into a flag.
Do you have a flag guy, Brock?
I was wondering what was going on in those glasses of his.
Like, working hard.
Can I hang this on my front, like off the porch, off of
Absolutely, yeah. That's exactly what it's for.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, or maybe on the mailbox. Put one of those flag things up there
every October
in the flowers.
Fest,
yeah.
Zoom in. There's a face right under my hand. Zoom in. It's just like this person is just in awe of the whole situation.
Really, it's like a still life. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Face of God sort of stuff. All right, sorry, what was the question?
Got distracted by his own.
That's quite all right. That's a great flag.
Got distracted by Jared once headbutt the singer of Squad Five-O in the ball.
One on my Wikipedia that I don't have.
We'll set one up. Don't worry.
Yep. So the
beer.
Yes, the collaboration you did for the sour gold.
Yeah, that was we're big fans of sour beers. I really like sour beers.
So am I. Yeah.
And a friend of ours, Brent, he who we've known forever down in Orlando, John's real good friends with still to this day. Kind of ran with our whole crew back in the day down there, and he started a brewery where they brew all their own beers. And when we were going to do the album release show down there and shoot, some footage of the documentary and stuff. I guess he just got a hold of John, and because Chris lives down there too now, got a hold of him and said like, hey, we'd like to do something in tandem with what you guys are doing, and like the club we were playing was right around the corner from their brewery.
Oh,
and
nice.
he said maybe we could do like an after party after the show. We'll have drink specials and we'll have a special brew, but we need to start it now because with sour beer, you got to let the fruit ferment and all that good stuff. And so anyway, he said I'm just gonna work on some things. We thought we'd do peach, in honor of the band starting in the peach state.
Yeah,
sweet.
And he just had a lot of really cool ideas. And like I thought it was really cool how they chose to use the artwork from the album on the label. I actually, hold on, guys. I think I have. I'm going in the garage fridge.
Oh, sick.
For all the good beers.
Oh yeah, there it is right there, brothers. Sour gold.
Nice.
Oh, corked and canned.
Yeah,
nice.
I haven't even opened it, bro.
Nice.
But look at all that sediment on the bottom. That's gonna be good. But yeah, so they just decided to do something in tandem, because they were Squad fans from back in the day, and they wanted to do something with the brewery, and it just sort of came about. And I think we tried to. I don't know what it ended up being, but it was supposed to be 5.0% alcohol. Right?
Oh, nice.
Sick.
It ended up being 6, but we thought it would be funny if it was 5.0 alcohol per volume.
Yeah.
But it ended up being 6.0. But that's even better. I like a little extra punch.
That's right.
With a sour beer. But yeah, so it was just a really cool idea and a really cool after party that we got to go hang out till the wee hours of the morning. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever drink this one, man. I kind of like it as a souvenir. You keep it cold though.
Hang on to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as you've gotten to taste it, that's really what matters. And hang on to it. That's great.
We actually, my wife's an assistant principal, and we bought a bottle for her principal. Gave it to him at school, but of course he can't bring it into school, so he went and put it in his car. But it got super hot that day, and it exploded in his car. So his whole car was just covered in sour gold, which is pretty epic. So yeah, don't store it in a hot car, guys, because evidently it will explode. But yeah, really cool collab. That's probably one of my more favorite collaborations we've ever done. Just kind of neat.
Any beer recommendations in Savannah? I'm going to be there next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There is a really great brewery called what is it called, man? We go there to watch bluegrass music. Now that I'm trying to think of it. Hold on, I'm about to look it up on a map.
You got Jared. You got Jared's ear, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, they brew all their own stuff, and it's like, and they have some canned stuff too from like other local breweries, but the stuff they do in house is really, really good. They're changing it out constantly, but they have a sour there that's like a pomegranate sour, and it was like it was freaking delicious, man. Service, that's what it's called. Service Brewing Company. I think it's like veteran owned and operated, but it's kind of like right in it's in our downtown area in a district that's called Plant Riverside. Kind of an area they just redid, and it's awesome. It's a great, and Friday, I don't know when you'll be here, but Friday nights they have bluegrass from 6 to 8, and that's usually when we hit it up.
I'm getting there on a Friday. Music. I'm coming for club volleyball, so I'm gonna be in the convention center downtown.
Oh,
during the day,
fun, man.
But I think Pooler or something is our hotel.
Hey, that's where I live. When will you be here?
I think it's in February.
You keep me in the loop. Maybe we can meet up for a drink.
I'll send you a message. Yeah, I'll be there for a while, a few days, 3 days. It's a long tournament.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do it.
You coach club, or it's
my daughter is playing. So my wife is a club volleyball coach, but our oldest daughter is a high school freshman, and so she's the one playing. But my wife works at a different club that's an hour away, like a big club, and she's playing local. So my wife will be somewhere else at a different tournament, and then I'll be there with our oldest daughter at the tournament she's at. We went last year too. So the convention center is nice. It's down there right on the river and everything, or the water. It's cool.
Yeah, it's right across the river from downtown. What position does she play?
She's a setter.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. My daughter played volleyball for years, and I coached her 3 years in high school. She played it
Really?
at the school that I teach at. She was an outside hitter, but dude, those were
Okay.
three of the most fun years of my life, man. That was so much freaking fun. Because
Yeah, my
our
wife's
school, we don't have football, so like volleyball is our big fall sport. So that was like our football season. Like that's the sport that all our kids got behind and came out and supported.
oh
It was
cool.
pretty magical 3 years, man.
Yeah, my wife played in college and then coached in college for a long time and then now works full
Did she
time for
play
a
for
club.
Florida?
No, that would we went to Campbell University undergrad. We're the
The
Fighting
Camels.
Camels.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
dude,
us.
that's rad.
So we went there undergrad. That's where she played, and then we went to Florida for grad school. Both of us actually.
Was your wife a
So
setter too?
she was not. She was a right side. She's a lefty.
Oh
So
wow.
we got stuck in the middle her senior year, which was
Like that's the
awful. But
hardest position to fill is the right side hitter, man.
yeah, she's a jumper.
It's a great
She
sport,
did have
man.
good aim with pieces of pumpkin, though, right?
She can throw a pumpkin at your car and break the windshield.
Yeah, Jeff. This is what happened. This is why they're
This is the
together.
college
Really, is
of it.
that
Yeah.
you kind of pissed her off, and she took a piece of a broken pumpkin, tossed it, smacked his car in the windshield, cracked it, and then 2 days later they're going to the state fair together.
Let's
Wait,
go.
no, they're
Yeah.
they're going out together after the state fair. Is that what
Absolutely.
happened? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ever since
Yeah,
20,
so,
however many years ago it
match
was.
made in heaven, really.
Absolutely.
Getting all the lore, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
No,
volleyballers, they got that aim.
we went to the
spiked
Final
it.
Four as a family, actually.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're
That's
we're
awesome.
big time volleyball people.
It's a great sport, man. Like
Yeah, I love it.
super exciting. Like there's always, I like a sport like that where I always say like college football is my favorite sport, but I always say like if I didn't love it, I would hate it because there's so much stoppage. There's like injury timeouts, there's TV timeouts, there's the team calls a timeout. It's like there's a review. I was like, man, if I didn't love the sport, I would totally hate it because
Yep.
it's like it's
Yeah.
so herky jerky. Whereas like volleyball, man, it's just you just go,
Yeah.
It's like it's a great
Yeah,
sport,
it's really
man.
dynamic and like fast paced and explosive. It's fun.
Yeah.
My wife grew up here as a ACC basketball person in North Carolina. Then we went to grad school at Florida, and she was not ready for SEC football, which I grew up on. I grew up a Florida fan, and
Yeah.
so she was totally like, "Why is this so long? Why does no one sit down? Why do we have to stand up the whole?" We're in the student section, right? And it's like she's like, "When are we going to sit down?" It's like, after the game when we leave."
Yeah.
Especially in those years, that was like the peak years. So I mean, yeah, she wasn't ready.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lifestyle, You got to dedicate yourself to it. I probably shouldn't care as much as I do. And honestly, I don't know why. Until my son went to UGA, no one in my immediate family had ever gone there. I was just raised on it, It's just in the blood. In the blood down in these parts, man.
I got chased off of the field in Jacksonville the night before. Me and a buddy snuck onto the field at 2 a.m. Like we'd been at the
Nice.
landing, enjoying
Oh, yeah.
ourselves, and had a friend with a camper at a spot by the stadium, and people were working, like getting ready with the concessions and whatever. So the gate was open. So we just looked
That's
at each other.
awesome.
We're like, let's walk
go.
in and see how far we can get. And we made it to the 50-yard line before someone yelled from the upper deck. It's like 3 a.m. It's just us. It's pre cell phone cameras, so I don't have a picture of it or
That's
anything.
awesome.
And then
Probably
he
better that way.
chased us out.
It's when they called in the
And,
polar bears on you.
He
Yeah,
did, and we
sure.
ran. That's when we ran, when he got on the walkie-talkie, and someone who sounded like an actual law enforcement figure was on the other end. Like, I'm not scared of the rent-a-cop, but that guy sounds like he has handcuffs.
Yeah. Cut your losses, man.
We're out of here, but it was fun for a minute.
That's awesome, dude. They'll never take that away from you, dude.
No.
Did I tell you guys about the time that we snuck into Fenway Park when I was in
No.
college? Oh,
That's
The
awesome.
Fenway Park?
the Fenway Park.
Wow.
So somehow, as a freshman, I ended up part of the senior prank, and I think it was because I knew the guy who was the security guard at our rival college. So the plan was we were going to steal the entryway sign from our college and take it to our rival college and basically swap the signs. So they're like, you know the guy who's security over there, right? I'm like, yeah, I went to high school with him. They're like, great, you're coming with us. So we like take the sign down, drive over to the other college, only to realize that their sign is, it's like granite, like posts, so we can't swap it. So
we're ready for you.
So we just took a picture with our sign in front of their school, and then we're like, well, what are we going to do with this now? So we then took the sign on a tour of Boston and just went all through the city. So there's pictures like, in front of the Paul Revere House, in front of Faneuil Hall, and then we're like, we got to go to Fenway Park. So we go to Fenway Park, and we happen to notice they were, the grounds crew and the cleaning crew was there because there was a game, and it was, probably like 1 o'clock in the morning, and the gate was open. And so we just kind of walk in, and we're like, hey, we're carrying this huge sign, there's like 6 of us.
We found this at the other college. Don't know what happened.
Right. So we're like, hey, we just need to take a picture like real quick. And the guy's like, I don't know, man. We're like, no, we'll be real quick, and then we're out of here. So we brought the sign in, took a picture, and then like got out of there, got back to the college, and then we're like, we got to hide this thing because we couldn't get it back up. So I forget what we ended up doing. I think we hid it in someone's apartment overnight, and then the next night snuck it back into like the college president's office and just set it up in there and said, I'm sorry I ran away. I didn't, like, there was a whole note that we left with it.
Like the sign is penitent about its travels. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And so we printed out all the pictures, and during chapel, we're all sitting in the back, and we just started passing the photos, like,
awesome.
Like, here, pass this up.
That's
So
awesome.
like there was just all these pictures, and people are just like looking at them and like pass them up. So like everybody's just cracking up. Oh, it was great. I got to try and dig up some of those photos.
Please do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shenanigans.
Jeff, you have any pranks you're proud of?
Oh gosh. Probably, yeah. I used to, back when my kids still lived at home, there was like a point in time where I was like mentoring like young men at our church, like they give you like a group of guys to mentor from 6th grade all the way through 12th grade. And so there was these 2 kids I was mentoring that I got pretty close with, and we got pretty close with their families. And a couple of them helped me. Like I coached my daughter in softball growing up and things, and a few of them helped me like be my assistant coaches and stuff. But at any rate, we would hang out on the weekends and watch football and stuff. And we used to, there was probably like a year or 2 period when my kids were like, my daughter's in middle school and my son was like in elementary school, where we would hang out with these guys on the weekend, and we would do just like stupid things, like, I don't know if you've ever forked a yard. Do you know what forking a yard is? Yeah. So we'd go out and like fork other kids in the groups, like other guys in the group, we'd go fork their yards. And we also used to do a lot of ding dong ditching. So I'm like in my 30s running around with like my middle school kid and these high schoolers, and be out on a Saturday night like ding dong ditching houses in our neighborhood. And the most memorable one though was, there was this lady that used to live across the street from us, not directly across, but kind of cat-a-corner. And we called her Bikini Mama. We never knew what, she didn't live here anymore, but we never knew what her real name was. But she was always in a bikini in her front yard, and she's like unnaturally tan and real leathery, like bleach blonde hair. And so one night we decided to go ding dong ditch her house, and we send the 2 high schoolers up to the door, and like it's my daughter and me, and she has a friend staying the night. It's like past midnight probably. We're just right down the street from my house. And so they go up and ring the doorbell and pound on the door, and we go and run and hide in these bushes. But one of the high schoolers breaks the plan, and he runs up the road instead of to the bushes. And we're like hiding in the bushes, waiting for her to come out of her door. And she never does. And I come out of the bushes. I'm like, all right, guys, I guess it didn't work out. Let's just go to Sonic or something, And as soon as I get to the middle of my street, her garage door starts opening, like, and I just yell at my daughter. So it's like my daughter, her friend, and one high school kid. And I'm like, back to the bushes. We go back in the bushes. We're hiding in the bushes. And as the door opens, you see like these feet appear, and then the legs, and then the waist, and then the torso. And you slowly realize it's not a woman. It's like a man. And he is very, very angry. And it's her pissed off. It's her pissed off redneck boyfriend. And he jumps in his giant truck, and he floors it out of her driveway and heads straight up the street where the one high school kid ran that I'm in
No.
charge of. Oh yeah. That I'm in charge of. And we're in the bushes and like my daughter's freaking out and the other kid, this kid Bennett that's with us, he's like dying laughing because he thinks his friends are gonna die, like he just thinks it's hilarious. And anyway, we're hiding in the bushes and the truck comes back after going up the street and it parks at the stop sign, maybe like maybe 50 yards from us, and we're just on our bellies in the bushes, like trying not to be seen. And he puts the thing in freaking park, and then he gets on. He has a freaking speaker on his truck like he's a police officer, and he's talking to us from inside the truck. And he's like, "All right, listen, you mother," and he just all these like words that like middle school kids shouldn't hear. And I'm like 35 years old. I'm laying in the dirt, and I'm like thinking, I'm the adult in this situation. Like it's like my job to get us out of this, Like and he's going on. It seemed like forever. Like it seemed like the Gettysburg Address or something. Like he's just all these terrible things he's gonna do. And then he stops talking, and that was like the scariest part because the truck just sits there, and you just hear it idling. And he's like listening and watching, and like we're in the dirt, like trying to bury ourselves, And eventually he pulls off, and I came up, and the way I described it to my daughter was like it's like sometimes when you're in a moment of life or death, you just like divine inspiration comes to you, and that's what I felt like. I just felt like this plan from heaven came and was coming through my mouth, and I was like, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to crawl through the woods, sneak behind the house, in between the next two houses, across the street to the woods behind our house, make our way through the woods to our fence, go over the fence, onto the trampoline, off of the trampoline, into the backyard, through the backyard, to the back door, into the back door, grab Bennett's keys off the counter, we're going to get in his SUV, I'm going to come down the street and pick you guys up, you're going to run out of the bushes, run into the car, and we're going to get away.
Parkour.
And I did. And then I did everything I said. And as I'm going to the house to grab the keys, I see the other high schooler whose name is Hunter on my couch talking to his girlfriend. And I was like, Hunter, we got to go. And he's like, girl, I got to go. And he gets off the phone because this was the kid that was missing, right? We didn't know who he was. He just went back home, I guess. And so we get in the car and we go to pick up the other three kids. And when I go to pick them up, only two of them come out of the woods. The high schooler stays in the bushes. The two middle schoolers come out. They jump in the car. And I said, where's Bennett? And they're like, he's not coming. He's not coming. Like I was like, okay, well, we just leave him, like he's on his own now. He made a decision. And we drive around for a while until we feel like the heat's off and go back home. And we're just talking about our adventures, about how crazy it was, And then we hear a knock at my door.
Oh, no.
And it was like, oh, God, it's the redneck boyfriend has found us. And then I realized the knock didn't come from the front door, but it came from the back door. And
that's even worse.
Yeah, I pulled the curtain aside, and freaking Bennett's like looking at me.
Oh, goodness.
Through my back window. And to this day, we've never been caught. So hopefully she doesn't listen to this podcast because she never.
We're not popular with bikini mamas.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So bikini mom, if you're out there, yeah, you know where to find me.
Yep. And bikini dad, just like leave them alone. They're kids,
I'm going to say it was bikini stepdad. I'm just guessing.
That was probably my favorite prank ever then. I'm going to write a book one day, and it's going to be a chapter in the book about the bikini mama.
I would read that book. Yeah.
The self-rescue. It's incredible.
Yeah, dude. Divine inspiration, man. You let it flow through you,
So good.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's a good prank.
I tell a much longer version of that story. I tell it every year to my classes as my Christmas gift to them.
There we go.
And I always give them this lesson at the end. It's like you make a plan, stick to the plan. Something will definitely go wrong with the plan. Don't panic, and look for divine inspiration. That's my 5 lessons from that story.
You are a youth pastor.
Now, do you remember which COVID date that was, and do we have access? Which one was that? I know you don't go back and listen, but if you remember the date, all you got to do is just send it over. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Good times, man. Sometimes I worry that those days are behind me. I'm like, yeah, like I need more adventures like that, man. Like. It seems like we were always, when my kids were younger, we were always getting up to something like kind of crazy. We had a golf cart for a while too, and that was just a really bad investment. Like we were just reckless on that thing, man. My wife, She was just always like, you're gonna die on the golf cart. I'm like, yeah, I didn't ask to be the fun parent. It just happened, you know.
Did you get the one that's a little bit taller with like the knobbier wheels that you can drive off like in the grass or like the dirt?
We got a really, but someone gave it to us for free, so it was like not nice. It was, I could run faster than it, and I'm not very fast. We had a lot of fun, man. Like especially back when they were still developing our neighborhood, and like a lot of the lots were still like under construction, and there was like mounds of dirt. Oh,
right.
Good times, man. Good times.
Oh, that's good.
Jeff, have you ever read Man Alive by G.K. Chesterton?
I haven't.
Yeah, okay. I feel like I mean you're kind of in line with the message of that book. The idea is that there are a lot of things that we're not supposed to do, but they're not wrong. They're just things that nobody does. And so why not go out and do these things that we're not supposed to do? You know, why not break into your own house? Why not all these different things?
Man Alive. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued now.
It's old. It's been around.
Yeah.
Why not spoilers? Can I give spoilers? I shouldn't give spoilers.
Yeah.
You haven't read it yet.
Oh,
No.
It's old. There's a statute of limitation situation. You can do it.
It's probably in the original King's English. You're fine.
It's our responsibility if we haven't read it yet.
I mean, just hypothetically speaking, let's think about a man who decides to woo this woman, but they're already married, but they woo each other like they don't know each other. It's exciting.
Oh.
And it's Chesterton. It's canon. So
yeah.
Chesterton's good.
Man. I'll have to check that out, dude. Man Alive. I'm gonna definitely check that out.
My best friends are the ones who kind of live, and one of my best friends introduced me to the book, and that was his pitch, was like, let's go and do some of these things we can't do.
That's awesome. I'm gonna write a book one day, man, about all my adventures.
Please do.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I should write them down before I forget them all. Like I always think of the Mark Twain quote where he says, "When I was younger, I could remember everything, whether it happened or not."
Yes.
And he said, and I'm worried that one day I'll be so old that I'll only remember the things that did happen. And I was like, yeah.
Write the book before you go into the woods.
Start writing some of this lore down. Yeah, before I wander off to the woods, it'll be the last thing I leave society. But no, I mean, I really do want to write a book one day. It's going to be, I think, because all my students call me Jefe. That's like my teacher name, because it's better than like Mr. Fortson or Senor Fortson.
Sure.
And like when I student taught, some of the kids nicknamed me Jefe because it looks like Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be called, they called me Jefe. It's just going to be the memoirs of a Spanish teacher and former punk rocker. It's going to tie in a bunch of the band adventures with the mentoring adventures I had with a bunch of those kids I mentored through high school and middle school, and adventures with my kids, and like some of the fun stuff that happens in the classroom. Like it's definitely not going to be about how to teach, because I like pedagogy like unbearable. I feel like my personal creed as a teacher is, I feel like you can either teach or you can't. Like you either have the heart of a teacher or you don't. And if you don't have the heart of a teacher, they can teach you how to exchange information, but it's not gonna be like a full learning experience, and if you hate kids, like, because a lot of teachers, I feel like they don't really even like kids, like they're just in it for the summers off and for the holidays, but 180 days of the year, you're going to be miserable, like, I think kids are hilarious, man. Like I hope to keep working with young people and be able to keep up with them for years and years and years to come, like I do a student travel program at my school as well, like every summer, except for the COVID years, we go to like a Spanish speaking country.
Oh, cool.
Those trips are all like adventure based. So like we're doing like the language and the culture and the food and all, and the dance and all that good stuff. We're also like zip lining and whitewater rafting and ropes courses, surf lessons. So there's like a whole like adventure element. Because there's other teachers that I teach with, and they do like like study abroad, like where you're actually like going to school and you're living with a family in Spain. And that's awesome. I think it's important to offer that. But like my travel program I offer is always more adventure based. We're usually out in the rainforest somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah. So I would love to write all that stuff down one day and just, try to somehow turn it into some sort of like narrative or something with like a life lesson involved in it.
I follow those
cool.
adventures on Instagram, so I think I would read the book. They look fun.
Yeah,
You look like
yeah.
a fun teacher.
Yeah.
Look like a fun teacher.
Yeah. I like what I do. You know, we learn, but
Comes across.
we try to keep it interesting. I mean, it really is like, when you have a group of kids captive for 90 minutes, man, and they're used to like a 3 to 4 second rush of like a TikTok or something, or like back in the day it was a Vine, right? Like how long were
Right.
Vines? 6 or 7 seconds, right?
Mhm.
And you're trying to someone who's conditioned for that amount of attention span, you're trying to keep them locked in on something that they maybe don't even really care about
Right.
for 90 minutes. So it can get challenging, but I sort of think you teach who you are as well. Like there's like sort of a big push in world languages right now, I guess in our district at least, to try to homogenize everything, like have everyone teach the same material in the same way and give like a standard test that's given it no matter what school you go to. If you take level 2, we all give the same exam, for this unit. And I'm fighting it so hard. I'm like, no, why would we do that? Like we're in the one few remaining disciplines where we can just teach it, and we can teach it how we teach it. And like my other two coworkers, one's from Venezuela and the other one's from Spain. Well, they teach in such a way as like native speakers would teach, and that's good. I think we need that. But I teach in the way that like a 31-year-old white male from Georgia learned the language. And I think that that's a different perspective, like a different angle. Like I teach it the way my brain unraveled it. And I think that helps kids who are coming from an English speaking background. It's like, oh, well, here's how my English brain unraveled this, like,
Right.
and I think that's important. Like, why would we want to lose that? Why would we want to give the same quizzes, the same tests, all these benchmarks that we need to hit? No, like, give us the freedom to teach the standards. I don't know if you guys know much about education, but there's always the standards,
Yep.
You got to teach the standards. Well, I'll teach the standards, but let me teach them how I teach them, because what works for me is not going to work for my coworkers, and what works for them is not always going to work for me. So give us the freedom to teach the standards, but in the way that works for us. And I don't know why they would ever want to do away with that. Like, let us be who we are, And I think that helps. Like kids can see that, like, yeah, my subject matter is important to me, and I am passionate about it.
Right.
And I know I'm more passionate about it than anyone else in the classroom.
Sure. Right.
But kids should thoroughly enjoy those 90 minutes that they're in that class, like it should be an adventure. And it usually is. Like, I don't always know where it's going to go when we start. I know what we're going to cover that day, but I don't know. And that's what I want the book to be about. All the fun things that happen in between the exchange of information, like all the like things that like come out of nowhere, like I had a kid show up one day, my first year teaching ever. He came in, he was an inner city kid. He kind of threw his bag down, and I'd already had a rapport with him. And his name was Daryl Austin. I'll never forget Daryl Austin, man. And he came in, threw his bag down, slumped down in his desk. I'm like, yo, Daryl, what's going on, man? It's like, shit, Jefe. I'm like, what's going on, dude? He's like, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm like, dude, just what's going on, man? No one else was in the room but the two of us. And then he looked over at me, and that's when I realized he didn't have any eyebrows anymore. And he's like, I'll clean it up, but because he cursed like a sailor. But he's like,
we've got an E rating, so you're
fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So he said, man, Jefe, they fucked my shit up. And I was like, I can see that, bro. I go, what happened to your eyebrows? He's like, man, I was hanging out. He's like, I was hanging out over the weekend with Larry and Pookie. And Pookie, he's a big old fat motherfucker. And he come over and he threw me on the ground, and he sat on top of me, and then Larry shaved my shit off, man. He just shaved it off. And they both sitting there just laughing at me, man, laughing the whole time. And I'm trying not to laugh as he's telling me the story. I'm like, dude, how does one get out of a situation like that? He's like, well, man, Pookie eventually got up off me, man. I kicked him in the balls, man. And then Larry come running at me, and I kicked him in the balls too, man. And then I just ran, Jefe. I just ran. I was like, Daryl, see, like stuff like that I would put in the book. Like that's I didn't expect that interaction that day. And then he's this chapter, by the way, is going to be called Daryl Austin and the Dumb Motherfucker. But there's another time at the end of the year, like the end of my first year teaching, And I had the kids, I was like, hey guys, I just want you in paragraph in English, because it's the end of the year, we're done with all our curriculum. In English, I just want you to write me one paragraph about your favorite memory from class this year. Like, what was the favorite thing that happened in class? And the best ones, I'm going to give Snickers bar to. Like top 3 in the class, I'm going to give each one a Snickers bar. They're like, okay. So they wrote it down, and I went home that night to read them and decide which ones were the top 3. And I got to Daryl's, and Daryl's was like, one day I was just chilling in Jefe's class, and he started handing back a quiz we took. And he gave me my quiz back, and I aced it as always. But then he gave that dumb motherfucker that sits in front of me his quiz back. And that dumb motherfucker made a 26, a motherfucking 26. So I tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around and looked at me, and I looked at him in the face, and I said, man, you are a dumb motherfucker. And that was the end of the story.
Did he get a Snickers bar?
Yeah, he got a freaking Snickers. One of the best stories I ever read in my life. I'm like, Daryl, I go, this is like Shakespeare, man. And then like at the end of that year, like I couldn't stay at that school because of politics. Like I was a first year teacher, and that district let all their first year teachers go, and because of budget cuts or something. And so I had to tell the kids like, hey, I thought I'd be around next year. I thought if I wasn't your teacher, at least I'd see you in the hallways. So, sorry guys. And Daryl like sent me a DM on Facebook, and I actually copy and pasted it into a doc and printed it out. It's on my wall, and I have all the curse words blacked out on it. So I can hang it on the wall at school. But it was like the most heart touching and profanity laden like thank you note I'd ever received in my life.
Awesome.
And the final line was just like, but for real though, you just one of them teachers I love the fuck out of. It was like Daryl Austin.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
So like things like that,
high
like
praise
that's
for
like,
a young person.
Yeah, and I wonder what Daryl Lawson's up to, man. He's probably like, God, he must be almost 30 now. So he was probably 15.
Hope he has his eyebrows.
Yeah, oh God, I hope they grow back. He gave me another thing he did. He gave me a mix. He was like a rapper, like an aspiring rapper.
Yeah.
This kid was like, this kid was ingenious though. He was like in the engineering program at the school I taught at. So he was like, he was sharp, but he gave me a CD, and I listened to it. It was pretty fun. Not my style of music, but pretty intense, like profanity riddled rap music. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I used to go find it. I probably got it somewhere. I need to go find it. It's probably in
See if he's still doing it. See if he's up on.
I should go track him down
SoundCloud.
on
SoundCloud, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I have some former students that are rappers, and it's a good time.
That's awesome.
One guy became a Christian rapper. Did not see that coming when he was in
Wow.
college. Yeah, not that kind of guy. But now
you never know. You never know where
the
path's gonna lead you, man.
That's right.
That's awesome, man.
Do we want to play a game, Kevin?
Yeah, let's do it.
Game.
So, Jeff, we try to play games with guests. We've called them Squid games because we think that's creative and original, and no one's done it before.
No one's done it before.
Right. Yep. As far as we know.
Yeah, I think it's us.
TM.
We come up with a scenario. We give it to the guest. The challenge is you don't really know us. There's not a lot of context to go off of, which makes it harder, but we find that very entertaining.
Okay.
And being that you're the greatest high school Spanish teacher, where'd you say, Brock? Is that in Savannah, Georgia, United States, or the planet?
I think the planet, probably.
Okay.
Sources say.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Confirmed.
Captain America agrees.
Fact checked and confirmed. Greatest high school Spanish teacher on the planet.
After those stories, I will confirm it as well.
Yeah.
Big part of high school with the yearbook is class superlatives.
Oh.
And since you're the expert, we would like you to assign a superlative to each one of the other guys on this podcast with what very little you know about us. But to make it reasonable, you can ask a question to each one of us that will help you come to your conclusion and give out your award.
Okay. So this is going to be like the most likely sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So most likely do this, most likely. Okay. I got it. Okay. So just out of the gate here, start with Brock. Okay. So Brock's going to be most likely to be the next Betsy Ross because he's signing some kick-ass flags.
Yes.
In the chat. Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope I
Yeah.
live up to it.
In the words of Betsy Ross, what do you want me to do with stars? In the words of the founding fathers, spangle them bitches.
That's right. That's right.
Accurate.
Just go with your heart, really, Brock. Okay, go with your heart.
I sure
But
will.
no,
I sure will.
no freaking pennants. They got to be
No.
rectangular.
No.
No pennants. Okay.
Not in a million years.
This isn't baseball. There's no crying in flags.
That's right.
Let's see. Pete.
Yes.
Pete, I think you're the Red Sox guy, right? Or
No.
was that Kevin
No.
down below? Kevin, you're the Red Sox guy.
He's hardcore Yankees.
I'm from New York. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow! I just insulted you.
But that's hilarious.
Most likely to be insulted by Jefe. Oh,
Yeah, Jefe.
okay.
Oh, burn.
I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. So we'll go to Kevin. You're the most likely to steal my street sign because you're into stealing signs, I think, right?
Mhm.
You stole the sign.
I did. Yep.
And then when I'm lost because I don't know which direction to go because of the street sign being missing, you would tell me to bang a Yui, which I think is like a Boston thing.
Yep.
Bang a Yui. Most likely tell me to bang a Yui. And then when you gave me my sign back, you would probably tell me it was something like a wicked pissa or something like that.
Yep.
That's what you're okay. Okay,
Yep.
I got it. All right, Jared, you are the most likely to root for a team that I hate. But also maybe my new favorite fan of that team. I teach with a guy that's a Florida fan. I've always said that he's my favorite Florida fan. You might have taken his place, man.
Well, tell that guy stay in the back.
Yeah, you have the volleyball edge over him too. So that's gonna push you up there.
Tell that guy to get in line.
I'm
Get in
honored.
line,
Yes.
son.
Yeah, stay behind.
All right, and then let's see, Pete, who I thought was Boston, but Kevin
It's
is
okay.
actually Boston. Pete is new. You're a Yankees fan, Pete.
I am, but I do live in New England, so
What in the world? Where are all you guys? You're in New England. What part of New England?
I live in Rhode Island, but anywhere in Rhode Island is close to Massachusetts. So
Yeah.
I'm literally 500 feet from the border, but I live in Rhode Island.
Not an island.
Not an island. I'm on the mainland, but I'm originally from upstate, like actual upstate New York.
Okay.
Okay. Near Canada.
Got it. Okay. Jared, where are you?
I'm in North Carolina.
Okay. What part?
Coates. It's south of Raleigh, like
Okay.
30 minutes or so south of Raleigh.
Got it. Vision it. Brock. Oh, Oregon.
Oregon. Yep. Salem, Oregon.
Two-sided flag.
That's right.
Kevin, where are you?
Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Where the Kennedys are.
Yep.
Cape Cod.
He lives on their compound.
That's right. We just talked about that because I didn't know where Cape Cod was.
You're okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to Pete. Pete, by the looks of it, you're the most likely to be mistaken for a member of a really unthreatening motorcycle gang.
Accurate.
That beard is like giving off like some serious like Sons of Anarchy, but personality wise, it's giving more off like Bluey, and I like that. I'm into Bluey, Bluey right now. So I think you'd be the most likely mistaken to be like some like, like just hardcore motorbike gang guy that is really just sort of into like being there for the kids, like giving the kids some hope and inspiration. I like that.
I'll take it.
Yeah, man.
That makes up for that mistaken Red Sox. Thank you.
Sorry, man. All the beards are throwing me off.
Totally fine. What I used to do, I used to bounce at a couple different music clubs, and I'd take the glasses off, and I'd be like this. But I wouldn't speak because as soon as I spoke, they knew I was just happy-go-lucky.
How a bouncer look to you, man?
Yeah. As soon as I spoke, they'd be like, "Oh, this guy's fine," because otherwise, just kind of grunt at them.
I love it. So Brock, did you ever have a beard, or you just rock the mustache all the time, man?
Man, I can barely grow. I've got like, some over here, and this side is just nothing. And so I grow what I can.
You guys have good facial hair.
For years, I had the trucker stash thing, but
nice.
Yeah. But then that started graying down here, so I went to this.
Right.
So I'm forestalling the inevitable.
There's nothing wrong with a little salt and pepper.
Yeah, I got a little bit.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know, I got the cayenne peppers going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. That was fun, man. I can't believe you guys are the most likelies, man. Way to go.
Well done.
Oh, shucks.
I'm putting that on my resume. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's going to go in our podcast yearbook.
Yep.
Rock's going to design it.
At a faculty luncheon one time, I was voted most likely to have my own reality show.
Is that right?
Yeah, I took it as a compliment.
Oh yeah.
You got a documentary. That's close.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Most people don't have a documentary.
And you're gonna be writing a book, so that's
Yeah. I just got to start writing it. It's all up here. It's all up here.
I think you sold 4 copies tonight.
Yeah, I'll design the cover. There'll be a flag on it. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll write the forward if you want. I mean, look.
Oh,
right.
Let's go. It's all falling into place.
Pete's the lead singer of Five Iron Frenzy.
I don't know if you knew this, but when Reese was on, I became the lead singer of Five Iron Frenzy. Wikipedia knew it for about 2 minutes.
Oh wow,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Yep. So it was pretty nice. Thank you very much. I'm still waiting for those royalty checks, but it's okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Reese is still probably waiting for the royalty checks.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Big ska, like Big Pharma, Big ska.
Would you like to tell us anything disparaging about Reese or Joe?
Or the Supertones?
Or the Supertones. We're always open to that.
Dude, I don't know if I have anything disparaging to say about them. They're great guys, man. Nothing but fond memories of literally all of our interactions. Like Five Iron literally housed us for weeks when we would be in the middle of the country. I remember distinctly one time being at their place like on New Year's, I think it was, and we were there like forever. Like we just stayed for days and days and days, and they totally just put us up in the Five. Awesome. They used to have like a Five Iron house, and of course the insiders always took really good care of us when we were over in the Detroit area. I love we did a tour with Joe, and all those boys, Nate and all them, back the year my daughter was born, actually '99. And that was one of the most fun tours I've ever done in my life, man. Those guys are, and the good thing about those guys too is just like they're like earnest, you know. It's like they're not one way to certain people and another way to other people. They're just like who they are. I've always appreciated that about those guys. And the Supertones, man, like I love freaking Supertones, man. Like Jason Carson especially. Like we used to had some really in the early tour days. When we would cross paths with them at festivals, or we never did like a tour with them, but we would cross paths at festivals and sometimes end up playing a couple shows together in a row. Have some really, really great conversations with Jason Carson, especially, and Dave, their saxophone player, and then of course eventually Pegleg from the Dingies became part of that whole crew. Yeah, like nothing but fond memories, man. Like when I think back to those early days of touring when we were like the late '90s when we were out with all those guys. That was like the most fun time of being in a band because we didn't know any better. We thought we had made it, man. We were like, we had no money to pay bills or anything like that, but like you were on the road with your buddies and you were hanging out with all these awesome people, and yeah, very grateful for that time in my life. Like super grateful. But yeah, I don't have any dirt on them. You want me to say something scandalous?
You can make it up.
It's
up to them to fact check us.
Yeah.
And they'll listen in about a month. It's fine.
Reese still has a full head of hair, man. It's not fair.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Like beautiful hair. His hair is so beautiful. I get very envious of that. My hair didn't make it. I abused it too much. But it's okay. I'm beautiful and bald.
That's right.
Still believe in you.
Nothing wrong with it. There's nothing
Thanks,
wrong with
man. No. When kids see pictures of me with hair, they like freak out. They're like, "You look so weird with hair." I'm like, "Dude, I had hair most of my life. Just recently."
The majority of.
Yeah.
The flyer in the chat it was '99. That was the first time I saw you guys at Carowinds, the amusement park in Charlotte. I don't know if you remember that.
People didn't think we were chanting "rocking it." They thought we were chanting "fucking it," and I was like, well, "Why in the world would we come to a Christian festival and chant that?" But we were clearly saying "rocking it." Like they actually, I don't know if you were there when it happened, but we heard that someone went on stage and like apologized for us after Like,
no way.
it happened. Because I think we went on that day, but that's the same day I'm thinking of. We went on after Project 86.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that Schwab's mic cord was like really short. So as soon as we went on, I said, "Hey, can I get a longer mic cord? Because I like to move around and
Yeah.
And of course, I used the longer cord to like encourage kids to come down to the front because they were all up on the hill. And I guess people had put all their stuff up because I think Michael W. Smith or someone was playing that night.
Of course.
And they trampled all over people's picnics and stuff to get up to the front of the stage.
That's what's up.
And then I left the stage with the mic, and yeah, we got in all kind of trouble. Anytime we played more like a more CCM sort of festival like that, we would always seem to find trouble. Like we didn't really fit into that mold too well. But then when we did like Tom Fest or Cornerstone, it was like it fit like a glove. It was just both those festivals were just phenomenal, especially the original Tom.
Let's go and do some of these things we can't do.
That's right.
That's exactly what our motto was. It's always easier to ask forgiveness than permission, right?
Right.
That's right.
So you should do something if someone got mad, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. Sorry."
Well, we should talk up this film. When is it coming out again?
I believe his release date is February at some point.
Okay.
In February.
Yeah,
I believe so.
Sometime in February. Yeah, there's going to be a film about Squad Five-O.
Yeah.
And people should watch it because spoilers, time out. We have time in.
We have.
It's great. And it's a lot of fun. So the story of Squad told well, I think, by Squad and by the people who love them. And yeah, it was really great. We've all seen it, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we can all vouch for it. We can all say this is definitely worth your time, especially if you love Squad.
With some footage from our own Kevin Brennan in there.
That's right. Yeah, Kevin's one of the filmographers.
Yeah.
Nice. Excited. Yeah, I need to watch it. I'll just every time I appear, I'll just mute it. And then I'll listen to everybody else talk.
We'll give the Thomas Jefferson version of the Squad Five-O documentary.
Yeah.
Just spangle them bitches.
Yeah. I think Caleb's like vision is we're gonna have a screening in Savannah, and we want to try to do it sometime in February. I just got the contact today. There's a friend of mine at school that runs the modern band program, and he does their showcases in this really cool theater on Tybee Island, which is like right off our coast. It would be really cool if we could do it there because they have a screen and they have a stage. So I think his vision is for us to do the screening, but also have us play. So it's like a screening of the doc, but also a Squad performance.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah. So we're still just trying to iron out the details with that. And I got to get in touch with this theater and see if we can make it happen there, because I really do think like that would be the best place in the area to do something like that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that will happen in February-ish, if not March-ish. I think it'd be a really cool experience, Like I'm flattered that someone would even want to make a documentary about our band, Sometimes my students will be like, why did you quit being a rock star to be a teacher? And I'm like, well, big difference between like a rock star and like a struggling musician. We were sleeping. We stayed in hotels and stuff, but a lot of times we stayed in basements and slept on couches, and sometimes we slept at the venue if that was the only option. It was fun, but I mean, sometimes when people ask me, why our band broke up, and I said because that's what bands do. Most bands break up.
Yeah, it's part of the whole thing.
It is, and I think for the 10 years or so that we did it, it was a really awesome run, and I'll be forever grateful that shaped a lot of who I am even now today. But I also think that, it ran its course, and the band breaking up, gave me the opportunity to be home and be a dad. I had 2 kids by that time, and become a very involved father. Like I coached my kids pretty much every sport they ever played.
That's awesome.
I got to go ding dong ditching, and there's a part 2 to that story where we went back 6 months later, did it again, and that time she called the cops, and we actually, instead of hiding from my angry boyfriend, we were hiding from the cops.
Oh my goodness. The ding dong ditching.
Did you have a plan?
We did. We had a pretty solid plan. At that time, we even had an alibi. Like we had a getaway car. Spoiler alert for part two, but we had a getaway car. And so when we were hiding from the cops, we were actually driving around the same streets they were in my neighborhood, passing the cops that were looking for us. And we eventually went to Walmart and bought a gallon of milk because when you buy something at Walmart, they give you a receipt. And that was documentation of where we were during the time of the incident. And so
there you go.
I carried that receipt around forever.
There you go.
And hey, Bikini Mama, strike two, girl, because the second time you didn't catch us either. You even had the cops involved. Still out there.
Undefeated.
Oh.
I actually use that anytime you have to give like an interesting or strange fact about yourself. Mine is that I ran from the cops with my kids because we were totally running from the cops. Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, man.
Milk.
Yeah. That's the punk rock, bro. Punk rock.
Yes.
Punk never dies. That's what it is.
Can't stop us.
Forever young.
We run these streets.
You are the youth, yes.
Punk is alive and well.
That's right. Milk over Broadway.
I did purchase the what is it, the Youngish shirt, Forever Youngish shirt.
Yeah.
It
That was
felt
one of
right.
my favorite ones, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite ones that I think we ever had printed up.
I've still got the old like Cobra shirt. I've still got there was two different ones. I had one of each. They're somewhere in a box somewhere. I still have them though.
We made a sweatshirt out of one of those Cobra things.
Yeah.
That said on the back of it said a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world, because that was like Cobra's motto on G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And a couple kids told us that those sweatshirts got banned at their high schools because it said terrorist on it.
Right.
Like, dude, just always getting up into it, man. You know?
That's right.
Yeah. I had that shirt because there was the T-shirt version of that one as well. And then I also had the one that was just the Cobra symbol with the SFO on the front.
Yeah.
I had that one too. Yeah.
Dude, we would poach so many like logos and things. Like, I mean, no one cared because we weren't big enough for them to care. But like, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the late '90s, we had a whole. Did y'all ever go to Cornerstone or anything?
I wish I had, but I went to Soul Fest that Kevin took the footage at. But
yeah, we did one year at Cornerstone. We did a whole run of shirts that were just ripoffs of old. And this was before we even, before bombs. This is back when we were still punk ska. And but we did several shirts that just ripped off old glam rock T-shirts. So like we had one that like was like Squad Five-O, but it was written in like the Striper font.
Yep.
And on the back it had 777, like the Stripers thing. And
yep.
We did one that was like the Appetite for Destruction cross, but it was our skulls like on it instead of like GNR skulls, and it said Squad Five-O in like the GNR font. And we did a Poison one. We did like a Motley Crue one. But like that was our whole merch line for Cornerstone, and we sold out of everything.
Yeah, I remember the Poison one. Yeah.
We used to rip off logos all the time. We had one that had the freaking mod symbol that Who would always use, like the Royal Air Force circles.
Yep.
We ripped that off too from the Who. And then we just started making really weird shirts that Chris Klein would just come up with, man. I don't know. Do you ever see the one we made that had it was like, and they were all like sketches, like they were thin lines and everything. It was like a rabbit strapped to a stack of dynamite. Did you ever see that one?
Oh yeah.
And
I
it
remember
said
that one.
It said no one is innocent. That was like what it said underneath it. Like Squad Five-O, it had the rabbit strapped to dynamite, and then it said no one is innocent. I love that shirt, dude. I thought that was like that's just some sketch that Chris did one time, and it got turned into a shirt. The good old days, man. But yeah, that Forever Youngish one, I thought that one was like really funny. I love that.
Guys, I got kids I got to put to bed, unfortunately.
Let's go.
I wish they could do it, but this battle remains. So
our podcast will live on and long into their teenage years, so soon you'll be with us.
It will.
Time.
It will, yeah. They'll know that I was always there for them, making sure they had no fun after 8 o'clock.
I'm just assuming mine went to bed downstairs. So.
My kids are 25 and 22.
Oh, yeah. You still got to make sure they're in bed, too, huh?
So you're also assuming they went to bed now?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Great to meet you, Brock. Great conversation.
Gents, absolutely. Very good. Hey, Jeff, nice to meet you. That's the news from like Scabagon, where all the men are hiding from the cops, all the women are wondering who rang their doorbell, and all the children are also lying in the bushes.
Onward, pickle soldier.
We did it, guys. Another perfect podcast.
That's my goodness. Yes.
Cheers, guys. Talk to you soon.
See you, Brock.
All right.
Take care.
Later.
And spangle them bitches.
Oh, this is awesome.
And flags.
And flags. All
And
the
Brock always
fucking
brings
flags.
the weird. Brock's weird angles are such a great icebreaker if the
So
guest
fun.
is game of like, and I
yeah.
feel like the people we've had are just like they like mischievousness and foolishness enough to be like, oh, this is a good time. And like he had flag opinions. I think that's the funniest thing is like when he's like, do you have a favorite flag? He was ripping off flag options.
Oh, yeah.
Like, wait, what? You know
That
a
was a
lot about
teacher.
flags, dude.
That was a teacher in him. You know, it was like he's game. He's game.
But it's a promise.